It's season 3 with me, Matt.
And me, Neil.
And me, Sam.
Welcome to this instalment of the Adeptus Terra podcast.
Strap in and relax.
Come and get your monthly hit of 3 idiots hooked on that plastic crack.
We hope you enjoy the chaos you're about to experience. Hello and welcome to episode 2 of season 3. I'm Matt.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Neil.
And that might not make sense due to the new intro. Who knows? We haven't recorded that yet. But yeah, here we are. So
Sorry,
it's been a while recording because we recorded early in January.
It is. It did feel. It
Yeah,
feels like
yeah.
it's been a while.
It has. Anyway, before we go into what we've been up to in this extended break,
You must wait for until next time.
I did. Yeah, mate.
Until next time.
I'm done. That's it. Yeah. Let's talk about dates. I'm like, no. Till next time. Hope you enjoyed the episode. No. Next month's hobby hangout is the 30th of March. There is one coming up, obviously, like tomorrow. But that's just time of
It's
recording.
you, right?
I don't know, because last time it was kind of you, but I started it.
Because
I can't remember what it was.
No. Anyway, carry on.
There was a whole thing.
I need to paint anyway, so I should probably do it.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be on it anyway, so one of us will host it, and it will happen. Great. But the next one will be the 30th of March. These run from about 8 p.m. till 10 p.m. Look out for the events in case something's happened and it's been pushed slightly later or slightly earlier. But every month they're around 8 p.m. till a minimum of 10 p.m. Normally goes far later. This is obviously UK time. And good group of guys. We've got a real steady group that come every month, but we always like to see new people join. There has been some guys who have come on for the first time or for a couple of times, which has been really great. And hopefully they keep coming as well. But yeah, it's just a good time to chat hobby, to get some hobby done, to enjoy each other's company. So do join us for one of our hobby hangouts this year. Gents, Legion of 3, shall we get into what we've been up to?
Yes.
Let's start with our purchases.
So
it's still weird to me that we now just talk about purchases.
my purchase isn't technically here yet, but it is going to arrive today.
Okay.
So it might arrive while in recording.
Sam may just knock over his microphone.
That's why
and
your
run out the
phone's...
door.
Right, okay.
That's I just checked because I got the dispatch notice yesterday from Element Games.
Okay.
If you want to buy from Element Games, if you go either to the show notes or to the Discord or to the Facebook and use our affiliate link, we get a small kickback from that, and it helps kind of run the podcast as the coffers are getting low right now.
Yeah.
So if you want to fund us and buy some Warhammer, then do it that way.
Yes.
So really appreciated.
Or not only just Warhammer, if you have a penchant for other miniatures games.
Yeah.
Good systems, sorry. I mean, like square basing. I've been tempted by square bases. I've watched a couple of battle reports.
Old World?
Yeah, Old World.
See, I'm still quite hankering a bit of Spearhead, one box Age of Sigma.
Yeah. Look at that.
I'm tempted.
No. Let's focus on what we need to do. No.
You will see. I've been a bit of a hobby butterfly this month, and
Really?
because of it, I've enjoyed actually hobbying.
Nice.
It's starting to bring that bit back.
Good.
Going today, I'm going to do 20 minutes on this, and then I'm going to do a bit.
Because you were a moany bitch like a couple of months ago.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
like-
I come round in circles. Don't worry. Next month or the month after, I'll be a moany bitch again. But right now, I'm positive.
So purchase for me, I bought the Astra Militarm Codex.
Yeah,
I also bought the cards because I really like the cards.
Yeah.
The index cards.
Really useful, I think.
And then somehow I bought 2 sets of dice.
Somehow.
Yeah, you're an idiot.
Somehow.
Do you know what? Right, I
I've got a guard symbol on them. I must.
you know what? They don't even have the They don't even have the Cadia symbol on them. They have
No.
the Death Corps of Krieg, but they're blue. They have like blue pearlescent dice.
Oh.
They are gonna be beautiful.
Oh, they're pretty.
They are, and at the moment I've got Blood Angel dice, and I've got an Alpha Legion dice.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense.
I mean, I made fun of it, but I've got Ultramarine dice and Death Guard dice for Heresy.
I think
Two, I'm going to say it, you two are shills for
Was
dice.
it-
We're just fanboys.
Was it?
That's what it is.
Do you get 15 in a box normally? It's like a random amount. You don't get scatter dice anymore.
Yeah, I don't know.
So,
19, 18.
I bought an amount of 2 sets, and I may or may not have also bought Pariah Nexus. I can't remember.
27? 3 rows of 9.
Whoa, don't talk about Pariah Nexus because somebody may or may not have had their copy of it yet. Still.
Oh, no, he's got them.
Oh, has he got it now?
But yeah, the cards. So for the more up-to-date missions.
Yeah.
I,
Somebody's at... Dorsan.
It's not that.
Oh,
Actually, hang on. I can check. 2 seconds.
Are they going to leave it at the door? Or are they going to walk away and then you're not getting
No,
it?
it's not. It's Kelly's friends.
Boo.
Scream over the thing. No, you're supposed to be a delivery.
If you're not bringing Warhammer, get out.
They did park on our driveway though.
Well, there's space for once.
No, I know. Anyway, so yeah, that's on its way today. I may have ordered prior Nexus because I think at the same time I was like, well, I'm already 60 quid into the hole, so why not make it a little bit deeper?
Make it a little bit deeper.
And this was before knowing the cost of my car repair. So
yeah,
now that's all kind of changed, and I have no money to spend on Warhammer anymore. I was looking through my collection, thinking, what can I shill in order to?
There's plenty.
Well, I've got.
Maybe
Have you got some
two sets of
dreadnoughts? I've got a couple of dreadnoughts.
A lot
You
of
can have.
dreadnoughts. There's a whole Gene Stealer cult army. There's a whole Tyranid army.
No. The thing is, right, so I was looking at my 1,000 points. My 1,000 points is still 1,000 points. I actually think it's gone a bit over now. I think it's like 1,020 with the new points in the app.
Okay.
So I'm still at 1,000 points. I've got some additional guard models already. So like I have Borgrins, the ones with the weapons and shields, slab
Yeah, I
shields.
saw those in there. They've been base code?
Yeah. So,
Sorry, spoiler.
No, I can't remember when that was. Like this month's hobby progress was fucking weird. We'll get there.
That's because you didn't fill it out as you did it.
No, that's the problem. So I've got some Borgrins, and I've got obviously my Kasakins, and I've got something else. Oh, and I've got like two Valkyries. Just like random.
Still?
Yep. They're just in the box. Look,
Oh,
honestly,
they were like we were using them for terrain pieces, right?
but So there's a box in my loft which is just called the box, which is just the like I went through that. That's where I found Ben's weird growth thing. You know that sounds really
Chaos
bad.
Spawn.
Out of context.
I was in the loft, and that's where I saw Ben's growth.
Yeah. So I found that's where the Chaos Spawn was.
Just for clearing that.
And
up.
then when I was going to find the Chaos Spawn, that's when I found the Borgrins. I was like, well, okay, well they might as well come down then. Like, I might as well add some rotation in. So what my plan at the moment is to play the 1,000 points against Liam. That game is still going to happen. It didn't happen, spoilers, this month, but it will happen in like 2 weeks' time.
Cool.
So, or maybe next week. Anyway, whatever. Play that game against Liam, figure out what I like, what I don't like, and then figure out where the holes are. I think the next kind of foray into additional models is probably going to be some vehicles. I think I'm probably going to go down the Lehman Russ route. I'm probably going to maybe add another Rogal Dawn command.
So nice.
The Rogal Dawn command tank.
Ooh.
I know.
There's something about that design that is so
They
nice.
look really good. They look realistic.
It looks
as well.
like a tank.
Yeah, rather than this random fucking block with tracks, like it actually looks like a tank. And it went together really well as well. So I maybe one of those, but they're like 65 quid. They're quite a lot of money for a tank. So yeah, purchase wise, codex, cards. I did not buy any Death Corps of Krieg. Oh, I've also got 60 Death Corps of Krieg models. Do you know that?
Yeah, I did.
I had
know that.
60.
Well,
of them.
I'm not
I knew you had
surprised.
at least 40.
No, 60.
I'm not surprised at all.
So they're also in the box. So I can
might
paint
as
them
well
up,
get
play
those
with
done,
them.
yeah.
Like I think I've got options. So I could get like a Krieg command squad to go with those.
You get one of the
and-
new big Krieg guns.
Well, so I've deliberately avoided that page while I was ordering my codex because they are don't get me wrong, they are fucking great, right?
Yeah.
And I love them. And one of the books I'm reading, or I was reading, I've fallen off the reading bandwagon at the moment in favour of D&D podcast instead.
It's all right.
Oh yeah.
We'll talk about it in the last section.
Yeah.
I'm interested now.
And
Other media, yeah.
So I deliberately didn't buy them because I think they do look really great, but I don't know. I haven't played guard. I don't know where my holes are.
Yeah.
I don't know where the holes in my army are. There we go. Let's use that one. So I don't want to just go and get like a big gun to plug those holes and it not be relevant or not be needed in what I've got. Maybe my problem isn't guns. Maybe my problem is
Maybe
armor.
that gun is just not wide enough to fill the
Exactly.
hole.
Maybe the hole is too big,
Yeah.
and a single tank won't fit in there. Oh, it's a Robin. That's nice.
There's two Robins.
But I think I just need to play a game, figure out what's good and what's not good. Probably more than one game because I'm playing.
Oh god, yeah.
I'm playing Liam's Tyranids.
So I've had a game this month, which we will
yeah.
obviously talk about in the appropriate section.
Yeah.
But my god,
Yeah.
it was insane. Like to say you need
Well,
to
it
play
sounds
more
like
than
Ben.
one
Sounds
game.
like Ben cheated. from the sounds of things.
Well, let's discuss it in the appropriate section.
I mean, Ben plays Imperial Fist. Are we surprised that he cheats?
He was not playing Imperial Fist.
Let's leave that one for the appropriate section.
Yeah.
I'm sure I've purchased other things. I think I've purchased some paint, but not that I remember. So
Yeah.
we'll just call it the codex. And if you do, I might get it in this thing, so I might get happier near the end of this recording.
All of a sudden, woohoo.
So that'll be that. So anyway, Neil, you've purchased something this month.
Yes. So I was away in Norway.
How long was that for?
It was only a week.
It was only a week. I wasn't
It
sure.
felt way longer.
I couldn't remember if it was a week or two.
Because we went away on the Saturday.
Yeah, late Jan, wasn't it?
Late Jan, and then came back the following Saturday, and I obviously discovered that there was a Warhammer store in Oslo.
I mean, that's
There's always going to be one.
You'd expect it in the capital city potentially. There would be one.
just maybe.
And literally, it was like a 5-minute walk from the hotel.
Planning, Neil. What up?
I don't know how you don't buy more. Like,
I feel like you should buy a model, and then so when I bought the Hellhound
and put the
and
flag
put
on.
the Italian flag on the back,
No.
do you know what? Yeah. Anyway, we're not gonna get there.
No.
So you bought? What did you buy?
Just bought 3 paints,
That's
and they were
so disappointing.
I know, right? And they were actually cheaper than if I'd bought them over here.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Norway's an expensive country. There are good reasons behind that, but it was like, hold on, these paints cost less here than I would do if I bought them at home.
What were like
€2?
€2.40?
It worked out to
Yeah, probably.
no, because they don't use the euro. They use the Norwegian
Mark? Krona?
krone or whatever it is.
Krone?
I can't remember what it.
Really? They don't use euro?
No, they don't use euro. They're not part of Europe.
Oh.
They're not in
Not part of the EU.
the EU. Sorry, they're in Europe.
Yeah,
They're
I was
not,
gonna say,
sorry,
they're
my
definitely
bad.
part of Europe.
They're definitely part of Europe, but they're not in the EU. A bit like us, really. But
We're
probably
not
better.
we're not part of Europe. We're not on the continent. We are our own place. Rightly or wrongly, sorry, I might point out. Like we are not part of Europe.
So yeah. And yeah, I walked in the store. Everyone in Norway talks damn good.
Oh, right,
English.
sorry.
Yeah.
Damn good
I
English.
thought you were going to say Norwegian.
Well, funny enough, they do speak
They
Norwegian as well.
probably do, yeah.
But literally walked in. I swear the guy was possibly English anyway.
Yeah.
That was working in there. But
This might sound more racist than I want it to.
okay.
Oh no, that's Swedish. Don't worry, ignore
I think by that comment, yes, it was. Wrong country.
Carry on.
It was an interesting holiday as well.
Did
But we'll go and talk into that one in other media.
Why? Why is it
Because
interesting?
it's
Other
for
media?
Because it's
Oh.
it's other media. It's not.
Did you get?
That's not. That wouldn't come under other media.
It's not a purchase, is it? It's not a purchase for Warhammer, so I can't really talk about it.
In purchases.
In
for that. But is
purchases.
it other media? Like.
Well, yeah, it technically would be.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, we'll circle back to that fantastic. news.
But yeah, so I got 3 paints for the crew.
Yeah.
So I've got the
The Kill Team crew.
the layer.
Are
paints.
looking really cool. You
The
sent a
layer-
few photos
The
across.
layer paints. I need to take pictures of the.
Did you send pictures of
something?
It was
the
or
two
show-
models.
Did you show them, or it was when he was randomly on a hangout?
Yeah,
Yeah.
blew people's
It
minds.
was like literally came home on the Saturday and was on the Sunday end of month January hangout,
Yeah, and
which
everyone's
was like, oh. And it was very odd to see all 3 of us
yeah,
in that call. It was like, huh?
This was weird.
yes.
We
Yeah,
all
'cause
we
we're
all know only one of us has to be here, right? Like,
It's because it was on the Sunday of the day after I came back.
yeah.
Um.
Yeah, and you had the Monday off as well, didn't
So
you?
yeah, and yeah, I got these. Strachan green, Golgo brown or something like. It's a dry paint, but we can
Oh,
mix
okay.
it with a bit of medium to
Oh.
do the.
That's
Gold.
Go. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Gulgar.
It's the same brown that my basing paint is.
Yeah.
So I use it, like the paint version, not the dry
Yeah.
version, as to like touch up the
Yeah.
bases.
And then I can't remember what the other one was that I got, but it's all to do with.
It was a paint.
It was a paint for the crew basically.
You
And-
going? What kind of colour scheme are you
They're
going
like
for the grid then?
black, aren't they?
No.
Is it like grey black? Was that the
So
original?
the
conversation?
idea is that they'll have like a deep red
Oh, that was it. Sorry.
prime.
Yep.
And then they'll have a highlight of a bone colour, and then a top highlight of white, and then
Pale.
a very sort of thin base coat of the green, the blue, and possibly a brown. depending.
Okay.
And then sort of wash it down, blah blah blah. To sort of link everything in, but still have the option of different colours. It don't have
that
to
would
be.
be cool, particularly for a kill team. It gives a bit more character to each crew.
Yeah.
They've come together because they're specialists. It's not just the rabble of crew.
Well,
That's cool.
It could also be the fact that the shaper has gone, right, well, you're going to eat this because I need you to be better at this, but it's then going to change the colour of your skin to be this.
Yeah.
and
it's variety, right? Like Matt says, right? This is like, remember how we used to play Kill Team where every model was different? Oh, so good.
Yes.
Anyway, but it makes sense, doesn't it?
So, yeah, that's my purchases. Very boring.
Do we count Audible as purchases?
Sure. Kind of comes in other media.
Which other media? That's fine.
Because that's books and which is kind of what we mean.
Books.
Other media is probably not a good title for that section, but yeah, whatever.
Sure.
Talking paints, I bought about 90% of the paints I need for my Death Guard. I still need Decayed Metal by
From Scale 75.
Scale 75, which is virtually impossible to get hold of, which is sad.
Did you not see the thing I sent you? The comparable
Yeah, but the comparison is too brass.
Right, okay.
The next one along is still not close enough.
Did you want to look at the Dark Star paints that I've got?
No, I literally want Decayed Metal.
Right, okay.
It's just so nice. I've seen the models.
Adamant about it now. So.
I will get it. I will get hold of it. I'm currently just painting everything up to needing to get the gold done. Before then, it's like oil washes and all the gunk for Death Guard. So yeah, I've got 90%. It's mainly war paints by Army Painter.
Okay.
So war paint
Black
air.
and red.
No, like bone, skeleton bone.
No, sorry.
Bone.
The packaging is black with red on it.
Black labels with red writing.
Yeah.
And the caps are all gold.
Right.
Because I've got the air.
Right.
So I got air for multiple reasons. One, because it was available.
Yep.
Which is the first one. Two, because the bone particularly is going through the airbrush.
Yep.
So have the pre-thinned air. And also because...
You still need to thin it.
No, you don't.
Not an airbrush paint. It goes straight in. You
It's,
can if you want to.
So Army Painter do war paint.
Yeah.
And war paint air. And
Okay.
and the air. I know you get Vallejo air.
I always had the... I always have to read the bottles because I never know which one's right. The one that delays drying.
That's the paint...
It's thinner or
no.
There's
flow,
one that,
flow improver.
Flow improver. I always add flow improver.
Sorry,
just
my brain.
I will always put 1 or 2 drops in and fire that through before I do any paint in the bot.
Oh no, I add it to the paint.
I do that depending on the paint.
Yeah.
But with this air, you don't need to. So.
No. I just with the air paint I've used. I've always added just to stop the drying.
I've gone ham.
I don't know. That's right.
Ham with the thinner, the Vallejo thinner for doing the priming. So it's very thin, but you just do like coats.
Yeah, you
but
just
anyway.
shoot through. Yeah. I mean, I definitely it is highlighted when we get into painting what we've been working on during the month. I'll talk a little bit more about the process of what I went through with my airbrush.
Cool.
But yeah, so I've got most of the paints that I need.
Cool.
And they're coming out really nicely, I think. And I also randomly purchased a Magos Dominus from Heresy Trading on Facebook for my mech.
Right.
So my mech were originally a allied list that was going to join my Ultramarines.
Yeah.
I then kind of did a bit more work on my Ultramarines, and a lot of this will come into the next bit that we talk about. Which then means the mech are kind of, obsolete. But I already got a box of the zombie Covenant, as I like to call them.
Oh dear.
And built 20 of them in January. So I was like, well, and I've still got Castellax apart with a Pravian, still part of my Ultramarine list.
Right, yeah.
So I was like, well, so I've got some Castellax, and I've got these zombies, so maybe I'll do a little 1,000-point ZME mech. So I can still do some mech. It scratches an itch, because I have always kind of been mech curious. And then I can ally them into any of the legions if I want to.
Yeah.
So, and then I was going through Heresy Trading, actually looking for another 10 Assault Marines to see if I could get some cheaper. And a guy was selling this Magos. It's one of the G-Dub plastic, ones, for like £8 with postage. And it was looking, and it's been built, it's been painted. I may repaint it, but it actually looks all right. So it depends if it will match my scheme that I go for. But for like £8. And I think that was including postage. So I was just like, that's a really great thing, and I do need a Mago, so bang. So I just bought him randomly. Very happy with him, and
Cool.
him and the zombies are to one side. Next is the 3 Castellax because they're in my Ultramarine list. But yeah, so randomly ended up with a Magos this month.
Nice.
But yeah, shall we? And that leads me into models worked on. So
Do you want to do it? You go.
yeah,
You go. Yeah.
So this all kind of started with my new Ultras. So I started looking at my Ultras, getting them to a list, which is where the mech came in. And I finished building 5 other Assault Marines that I got for Christmas. So I built 5 last month with Power Lances. So I just had to build 5 with like chainswords, like standard dudes. And I need another 10 because I've got a 20-man unit in my Ultramarines. I converted up some las cannon sponsons for 2 Predators, which have come into the list. So I've got 2 las cannon sponson and Predator cannon, which is like the auto cannon in Heresy, that run as a squadron. Because that's quite a lot of kind of high power shots and very cheap. The way I did the conversions actually was I took the las cannons from the Sicaran sponsons, because I use heavy bolter sponsons on my Sicaras. So I took the las cannons and mounted them on the 40k chassis of the Predator.
Yep.
But obviously there's no like power pack or any kind of like, battery or some kind of thing that looks like it would fuel them. So I actually ended up taking some melter bomb / breacher charge / some grenade kind of thing that was like a canister almost, and cut the handle off, glued it underneath, and then run a little bit of cable. And they look really cool, in my opinion. And they look a little bit different to the big bulky 40k sponsons. And it was quite an easy conversion, to be fair. So I painted up those and got them all glued on and everything. So they're now done. I then also, my Ultramarine Breachers, these are the guys with the power sword and shields. They have a special name, but I never remember what it is. They're just not very good in this edition. They're overcosted. They're breachers, so they get 1 attack. They've got a power sword. Like, they're very expensive. It was just like, why would you take these over like suzerains, which are like some of the best units in the whole thing?
Can you take them as suzerains?
I'd need to change their hands over to axes.
Oh.
Which is easy to do.
Yeah,
but what I actually decided to do is I had 10, I think they're Finecast, Vanguard Veteran jump packs.
Oh, nice. Okay.
That have like little chains with little tokens on them and purity seals and stuff like that. So I actually took off their backpacks and painted up base coated and dry brush and everything the 10 jump packs, and then glued them on to the breaches, and made a Loctaris Assault Squad.
Okay.
So the Loctaris Assault Squad are a Legends or Legacies, I can't remember what Heresy uses, I think it's Legacies, unit. So they're not in the black books, but I was like, actually they're really good fun. It's basically a 10-man assault squad. They're all in Artificer armor, which is what the shield represents.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
2-up save. And they all have these special Ultramarine power swords.
Nice.
Which are like power swords, but you get +1 weapon skill in, I think, when you charge, or I'd have to look up the rule again. But, so just popping off their normal backpacks and putting on some jump packs, and they get a new lease of life, and Loctaris are a really good unit. They're expensive because they're 2-up armor save, and
yeah, but that's forgivable, right?
Yeah,
if they're usable and you like they actually work.
Well, then I was like, well, if I'm using this Legacies unit and my Ultramarines are kind of like this will do when there's a new edition, I'll reinvent them, probably.
Don't want to get rid of them because there's no point, but
Yeah.
at the same time don't want to necessarily invest too much more into
so changing over some old jump packs and making them a unit that might disappear in the next edition doesn't really bother me.
Yeah.
But when I thought about that, I've got in my case my Castaferum Dreadnought, so box dread.
Okay.
That had a converted Flamestorm cannon because he was from the original ZM challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is when I did the Ultramarines to start with. Same as the Breaches, really. And so I went, well, actually, to give him a new lease of life, I just pulled out a las cannon Dreadnought arm that I had in my bits box. back in the day when you used to have so many box
Jesus,
dreads.
so many boxes, yeah.
I just took a twin link las cannon arm, painted that up, and put that on him. So
you better be using the Element Games link. Good. We need all the money we can get.
Yeah. But yeah, so now I've got a Castaferum Dreadnought in my list.
Yeah.
With a twin las and fist. So that was really cool. So he's now in there. So I kind of, after adding these units, it was like, well, I'm now at 3k, so I don't need the Mechanicum, which is where the Mechanicum kind of allies / ZM force is now kind of being birthed.
Can't remember my details. Top of my head.
So that was all like the first half of this space. I won't say the last month. Like I kind of was like Ultramarines, reimagining them, getting excited about that again, changing these units. So I wasn't spending money, but I was getting something new, which felt quite nice. And seeing hobby progress, like the Predators are done, the Castaferum's done, the Assault Squad just need like the final touches to their jump packs. And I'm thinking of trying out some like jet glow in the bottom of the jump packs, which I've never done before. So that'll be kind of a fun little extra thing to give a go on them. And then I've changed tack. This is where the hobby butterfly kind of comes in. Of doing my Death Guard.
I don't think that's changing tack, right? It's having multiple projects on the go.
Yeah, that's kind of what I mean.
I think you're fine.
Yeah, it is. It is fine. But it's just like I've kind of got to a stage, and I do still need to finish the Assault Squad. But they've kind of been pushed to the side because I got the paints for the Death Guard, and I was like, I want to do the Death Guards.
And you're taking Death Guard.
That's the plan. So this is why it kind of triggered the change. Is I'm replacing Simon, who now can't attend an event. My hope is to take 2,500 points of Death Guard.
Cool.
But none of them are painted.
That's not a bad place to be.
Yeah.
You can only go up from there.
I have the whole force. It's an army I vaguely know.
And you can play it as well, so it means you can get some practice.
Yeah, exactly. So I started painting up the dead Cataphractii Terminators.
Hang on. Why are we starting with the dead? Why are we not
because
starting with the...
they're my tester models.
All right, so you're gonna stop painting dead models.
I haven't done any. Look, right. Just let me cook. Let me cook. So I did 5 out of 10. I have 10 of them. I only did 5 because I only need 5 in my list. Because the plan is listen. My plan is to paint my list and then hopefully paint all of the casualties so I can take them to the event.
Okay.
If that doesn't happen, that's fine.
List is first.
Yes,
though.
yeah.
Okay.
But I only did 5 out of the 10. One, because I need 5 for the event if I get to do that.
Yeah.
But also, I didn't want to take too long.
No.
The way I did these is, I think last month I'd got them all rusted and like the undercoat stuff. And then I sponged on the colours.
Yep.
So there was a lot of rust showing through. Because they're dead.
And is that how you want to do your...
Well, so this is the thing. So I thought about that's how I'm going to do everything.
Yeah.
But I thought, well, I want to try some stuff just going armour colour and then adding the damage afterwards.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the more normal way of doing it, unless you're doing the salt chipping or chipping medium or all that jazz, which I've kind of moved away from just due to speed and time.
Yeah.
So I've painted up my Delegatus, my Herald, and my 2 Contemptors because they were all base coated already.
Right.
And so they've had the skeleton green, the skeleton bone, and the bleach bone highlight through the airbrush. And then I've painted the greens on the shoulder pads. And then I've just started doing the silvers.
Nice.
So I'm going to do those guys the other way.
Yeah.
Like the kind of normal way, I guess.
Yep.
And see how they come out, see if I really like it. And if I want everything to be a bit more worn, then I'll revert to how I'm doing the dead guys.
Your chipping, your sponge, are you just using a bit of like kitchen foam?
Just it's an old like bathing sponge.
Okay.
I just pull a little bit off and put it in one of the clear cases that you go over your tips for your paintbrushes.
If you are doing an entire army, it probably would be worthwhile investing in a sponge brush.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, if I choose to go that way, 100%.
Just because it will be way more comfortable and repeatable. Then that, it's a really good method of doing it that way, don't get me wrong. But I think if you're going to do a 2,000...
well, the way I would probably do it, I mean, that's a good idea, and I'd look into that. But a lot of people use the reverse grip tweezers. So
I've got a set of those if you want to try it.
Yeah, so then you can just...
The only thing I would say about those, right, is... it holds it,
Yeah.
but it still moves in the grip. Like it's not like a vice grip, like
Yeah.
like a set of vice grips or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I would say like the stuffing it into a tip of the paintbrush thing is more robust, I'd say.
Yeah, it holds it really well.
Yeah.
Like, it's been good. And obviously you're doing small models, so you're doing
But you could just make your own, right? So really, you could get a big brush cover with the big brush, right? Turn the brush the other way, so it's just the wooden handle going into it, and then just make your own paintbrush.
Basically, yeah.
I'm just thinking more like that's quite crampy.
Yeah.
Whereas, like at least you're using a paintbrush tip rather than like just holding onto the corner.
A tiny little corner of the spine. No, God.
I imagine that's the type of pain you'd put yourself through.
I would 100%. No, I now sit in a chair to hobby.
Rather
than a bar stool.
And it's a real style chair. It's not one of the plastic children chairs.
No. Yeah, I've upgraded over my years. But oh God, for people listening now who haven't gone back and heard all of those things in the past, that sounds very strange.
Well, you just painted on what you had available to you.
Yeah, I did.
And that might have been children furniture.
Yeah.
And
I've
as
gone up in the world
as a
now.
6'2", 6'3" guy,
Yeah.
it worked.
Now the kids are at school. There's a little bit more finances, so I don't have to deal with what I've got. I can actually upgrade,
100%. It's good.
which is lovely. But so I'm going to see how they come out. They're coming out. I think they look really nice right now. Obviously, they'll get oil washed, streak and grime. I'm going to get some rust effects. Liquid.
Yeah.
I've got rust powders as well. I probably will do some sponge tipping in that as well. So they are going to get very dirtied up, standard kind of Death Guard-y. But and then I'll see what they look like. And then my thoughts are, and this is one of the reasons I did these, the HQs, the Contemptors, if they aren't quite as worn as the other stuff, I can kind of get my head around, your 20-man squads are a little bit more buffered and battered and not as important, so maybe not as many fresh paint jobs to fix damage, and we'll kind of see. And ultimately, if I go back and it's just like they look too clean, it's only 4 models. I can go back and just repaint them. Frankly.
Repaint them, or maybe they're just a little cleaner.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm giving that a go to.
Someone's at the front door.
It's the postie. It's the post. No, come on. I'll get it later.
Kelly's there, right?
She's there. Yeah, she's
okay.
there. I hope she's there.
I was going to say, she's gone out and he just walks away.
She's fine. He's walking away. Did he have a pass in his hand? No, carry on.
This is so good. So yeah, good little start.
Cool.
Good little start. I'm hoping to do progress. I was saying to you guys before we started recording that I've found little and often has been working.
Yes.
Just doing like even 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Cause I've got the desk. It's all out. Mm-hmm. Going in, sponging those 5 Terminators with one bone colour was probably half an hour. And then I can walk away because I've done that stage.
Yeah.
And it's not much progress, but it is progress, and that has meant that I have seen steady progress.
Cool.
So it may be that stays that way. I spent a couple of days, not as in actual days, but set time to get the bone down with the highlight. In one sitting.
I think that's it though, right? It's the more you. It's like what they say with kids: sleep promotes sleep, right? Yeah. Hobby promotes hobby. If you're doing it in 20 minutes, you're more enthused to go, man, I've got 5 minutes. I've got 20 minutes. I could just sit and watch YouTube, or I could go and just put some paint on. Yeah. Like I feel like it is the more you do it, the more you do it.
I think that's been a nice thing. It's also because I am now painting a full army from sprue to complete, which is 77 models.
Okay.
So that technically is like 153 when you add all of the dead dudes. So it's a lot to paint by July. So that's,
yeah. I need to probably look at my army.
Yeah, work out what you want to take.
Yeah, I think.
Do you want to? You're talking about doing Blood Angels.
I'm a loyalist in this. This.
So hopefully you're not going to cop out and be I'm a loyalist Alpha Legion.
Yeah. But that was the backup plan.
I know. My backup plan is my Night Lords.
Yeah. The backup plan is the Alpha Legion. I can make a loyalist list from them. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
Like they're ambiguous enough.
Yeah,
right?
it's fine.
They're loyalist-ish. Like we'll call it that.
Yeah.
But the aim is to get the entire 2,500 point Blood Angels painted and done. So We'll see.
Fair enough.
We'll see. But it'll be the game. It'll be the one I took against Ben. That was Alpha Legion. No,
That was Alpha
it was Alpha Legion.
with a Blood Angel Dreadnought.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, I'll figure it out. It's fine. That's Future Sound's problem. I don't need to worry about that just yet.
That's funny. That's everything I've done really. Just little bit here, a little bit there. Mainly Ultramarines, Death Guard, and then I kind of in the last week have fortayed back into 40k, but that comes through in our gaming section.
Cool.
Go on.
So again, I've only really done a very little. See, it was all done on the last hobby hangout where I built the 2 Kroot Shapers from the box that they released in the new Codex release. So one's got a bow and the other's got 2 rather large chopping, slashing weapons.
Yeah. The Butcher.
The Butcher, yeah. So they're going to sort of take place currently in the kill team until I eventually buy a kill team box to replace.
Does the Kroot have a kill team box yet?
Yeah. They've had
they do.
They have had a kill team box for ages, but I just haven't got around to purchasing.
Yeah.
Because
I think there's something special sometimes about converting your own stuff, and you start playing games with it, and if it performs, you're like, no, this is the guy now.
Yeah,
I can't buy the store bought thing. This is the guy.
Yeah, but it's like I haven't got any Kroot Hounds at all.
I might.
Okay.
I think Sam probably will.
Let me look in the box.
Okay. Because that's the only sort of real thing that would need to be purchased.
Does it need to be? Do you want them to? Because then obviously the new Kroot Hounds they've put quite a lot of sculpt work in them, and they look way better.
I will get Kroot Hounds eventually anyway. But as an additional thing.
They're like £22 for a box on Amazon. Not Amazon. Element Games. There we go.
Okay, we'll have a look later.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've built those, and then I've primed them in the zenithal highlight style of having a deep red base coat prime. So that's a mixture of Vallejo black primer and red primer that Sam gave me, and then an overall spray pretty much with Menoth white, and then a white ink from above just to give them that highlight. And then there's not really much skin on display, so I'm going to have to work out.
Yeah, they are a lot of robes actually, aren't they?
So I've got to work out how I'm going to paint.
They're conservative Kroot rather than slutty.
Well, they're the leader ones, so yes, they're not the slutty ones.
Not the slutty ones.
But again, I'll use the same style and I'll just work out what one's going to be which colour, and then just mix all the others in when I get around to it. And that's pretty much it for hobby.
That's cool.
It's not been a great month for it. I've just been super busy at work.
So, I last time started tracking my hours.
Yes, you did. Yeah.
So, since the last time we recorded, I have done a 4-hour week, which is not the 7 that I committed to. I then did 3 8.5 hour weeks.
Oh, catch up.
And then I did one. The last one I just did was 4.5 hours.
Okay.
I was away.
Yeah.
For work. So I contemplated taking stuff with me because I got the train and I had a backpack. I was like, "There's no way."
The car, right?
Like, there's no way I would have done it. So it's on track. It is on track. Is the Cadians done? No, they're not.
No, but instantly when Liam was ill, the game got moved. Why kill yourself to finish to the original timeline when you know you had another 2-3 weeks?
Yeah. So,
but now you might kill yourself again.
And it definitely, I think definitely nearer the end in that last week when everything kind of was coming together, I was making sacrifices in the paint jobs to meet the deadline, and I was like, man, I'm not going to be happy with this.
Why am I doing that?
Yeah. So like the horses, for example, the colours of the horses that I picked, I've used all my different contrast paints. Yeah. Some of them work really well, like the browns. Some of them, so I might go back and redo the horse's skin. But yeah, or probably won't. I'll just get more horses and have them as weird, anemic looking horses. So I'm going to go through my list and basically state what I've done and what I haven't done. So HQ units, or whatever the fuck they call them now. Acadian Castellan is finished.
Oh, they're just characters now.
Characters. So Acadian Castellan is completely finished.
Yeah.
1 command squad is completely finished.
Lovely.
1 command squad requires that I dry brushed the base. So the textures on it.
They're done, basically.
And they're painted. Everything's painted. I need to dry brush the base, and then I need to stick on the tufts.
Basing is for closers.
That's how you get your 10 points. Ursula Creed is just prime black. She is my finished model.
Yes,
she's the final one I'm going to paint. So she's waiting there, paint prime black at the moment. I've got two 10-man squad of Cadian shock troops finished.
No. Cool.
One 10-man shock troop squad, which is the same, just requires dry brush bases and the tufts. And then the last one, I've got all the base colours on, but I've not done the detail on because I lost the will to live in that timeline. So that's fine. The Rough Riders require the dry brushing as well, and the tufts. So they're done. Apart from that, the Field Ordnance Battery requires detail on the guns. But they've got the prime colours. They've been washed down. It's just the painting the wheels, painting the like little markings and stuff on it. Detail work. And the infantry that go with it need to be painted. So they're all again they're the same level as the shock troopers. So they've got the base colours on, but they just need to have some detail work and then the washes. The Rogel Dawn battle tank has all its has all of its colours done. It just needs detail paint now. Scout Sentinel 1 is finished, and Scout Sentinel 2 is the same as the other vehicles that require the detail work. So what I probably will do is on the How We Hang Out tomorrow, which will be before this goes out. I'll probably do the Rogel Dawn Scout Sentinels and the guns detail work. Because it's nice, simple. And then they'll be done. So it's been a good month for painting. I think I was super motivated at the beginning. Burnt myself out a little bit when we got close to the game. The game got cancelled, then was a bit of a slump, and then I was like, what am I sort of painfully sort of push myself through here? So the game has been rescheduled to like next week. I think it's next week after next, whatever. So I need to get back on it to get.
You need to get back on it and have a full week. But it sounds like you don't need a 15-hour week where you'll burn out again.
No.
I think my hope is that because I've now stepped in for this event, that I can carry that motivation over the 6 months rather than doing what I did with the Ultramarine tank list for Company of Legends, which was I had like almost 2 years to paint that because it kept getting pushed back, and then I painted it all in like 2 months. But I'm trying really hard not to do that because I don't want a similar thing where that last week, that week before, you rush in, shooting stuff out, and you're going, well, that'll do. Rather than going, I'm happy.
Which I think that was the stage I was getting to. So like the riders, that will do. The command squads, the white on the helmets of the medics is that'll do white. Like I do want to go back and revisit it because I look at it and it does pay me. So like those need to be redone, and then I need to sit down and do fucking transfers on everything. But I want to do it all at once because I hate transfers. I'll pain for it all at once.
I'm a little bit like that with the Death Guard. I need to get some transfers for them. I don't have any yet. And I'm like, actually, I want to get them on before I start doing all the weathering oil washes because I want them to look really haggard.
What I am excited about is when this 1,000 points is done, actually going, what units interest me now? Like, I kind of want to get a couple
30k Blood Angels.
30k Blood Angels will need to interest me, you're right, actually. But I want to get, like, a Tech Marine, for example.
That would be really cool.
Because they're really cool in Guard. And there's loads of beautiful Tech Marines coming out. I forgot about that. The Minsk Command Squad comes out today.
Oh yes,
which again would be quite cool. Just having a command squad in rotation. There's quite a few like I've got my Gaunt's Ghosts. They're in there.
Oh yeah.
And they're completely playable.
They were going to be a diorama.
They were, but they're completely playable in this edition.
I've forgotten you had them.
So I'm going to paint them up. They're a command squad as well. So they're going to go in. So I've got some random units I want to do, and I can take some time on. Then, like once I've got this 1,000 points, I'm playing with that 1,000 points. And these units gets finished, I'll just sub them in and out.
Sub them in and out. That's a great idea.
So that's everything I've painted. Moving on to other media discussions.
Do you want to do game before that, or how do you want to do it? I mean, this is our normal order,
I think
suppose,
games next makes more sense than media.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I feel like maybe other media should be the last thing we talk about. I'll change that for future episodes.
Okay, that's fine. You're the only one that had an actual game?
Yes. So I had in here that I was taking Simon's spot on the Heresy event, but we've already talked about that. So that's fine. But I played a game of 40k, which I realised the last game I played of 40k was July 2024.
Was it really that long ago?
Yep, because I didn't get to play 40k in August because my child's appendix decided
of
to blow
course
up.
you didn't play at all, did you?
And then I haven't played 40k since then because we had an event.
Yes, we did.
So I was doing 30k for the last half of last year, and then I haven't played anything since our event in October.
Yeah.
So yeah, nearly a year. Or 7 months or whatever.
Yeah.
Of not even looking at anything 40k.
Yeah.
So it was rabbit headlight. It really was, and that did suffer a bit, and we were forgetting rules constantly. It was a real bit of a mess in that sense, and we noticed a thing that I think will happen a little bit with our group particularly is like the data sheets Ben was using were like index data sheets. The World Eaters Codex does exist,
Right. Okay.
and so the best one is he had 2 rhinos.
Yeah.
His sheet said they were toughness 10.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't reading it wrong. He wasn't.
Yeah.
It literally just had T10 on it.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing the very first rhinos from the edition were toughness 10,
Yeah.
and then they've changed that.
Yeah.
Which, to be honest, the thing is, if he's playing true index,
all his rules were the same. Yeah,
then it doesn't matter because
No, not really.
because it's rough with the smooth, and all right, you can't take that to an event, but we're not an event. Like,
exactly.
It's
So
like
he didn't do anything wrong.
It's
Is
like
my point.
It's like when people decide to like the Eldar Codex came out recently,
Yeah.
and the few people I know aren't getting it. They want to
Yeah.
they're just going to play index at Eldar. And all right, some people will turn their nose up at that, say, "Oh, that's not really fair," because they're probably they're actually quite good in index. But at the same time, you're taking the rough with the smooth, right? You'll take as long as I think at that point you kind of almost have to freeze the points at the last one for the index because otherwise things might get cheaper because they got worse in the codex and you kind of benefit there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, yeah, okay, cool, that's fine.
Yeah. So I would guess in points then technically, that's where the problem is.
Yeah.
So if you're using the app, it gets updated, right?
Yeah, so he
he
would
would
need
have
to
paid-
find what the points were before the codex
Yeah,
dropped.
exactly. To make sure it levels out.
Yeah.
But I still just find in this edition, the main issue I faced with this game was not his overall list. His list was Khan the Betrayer, 2 Berserker squads and 2 Rhinos, a Demon Prince with wings, and a Forge Fiend with the 3 plasma guns.
Yeah. Okay.
So Dinobot with guns.
Yeah.
Is how I describe it.
Yeah.
And then I ran Ragnar Blackmane with his Assault Intercessors, Lucas the Trickster with the Blood Claws, which is almost a mirror image to his 2 Berserkers.
Yeah.
I ran my Mario Kart ATV.
Yeah.
I ran 3 Inceptors,
Uh-huh.
which were gifted by James at the event last year.
Yes.
So I built those up, so I brought those.
Nice.
And I ran Bjorn the Fell-Handed, who's very tasty at the moment,
Cool.
and my Desolation Marines
Yep. Yeah.
for a bit of anti-tank.
Yes.
My ATV has a multi-melter as well, so there's
Yeah.
but they were my main anti kind of tank. And it was one of these games, and most of my games tend to be this way because I throw units into messes all the time. But it was like quite a lot of mutual destruction.
Yep.
He got the charges, so his berserkers benefited.
I mean,
and my
both your
units
armies are close combat armies.
Yeah,
To be fair,
it was a meet in the middle punch fest.
Yeah,
it really was.
Yeah.
And the problem was he was the attacker, I was the defender.
Yeah.
And he won the roll off to go first.
So he got the charges.
So he got the charges, basically. And I tried to stay away, so he was more closer to my deployment than right in the middle of the board. Because I was like, well, he might fail a 9-inch charge or an 8-inch charge. But a Rhino, you can go 14 inches.
Yeah.
And then next turn, he just didn't move the Rhino. They get out of the Rhino, and they can advance and charge because they're Berserkers and Khan is there. And so they were just getting into combat. And I was like, this is going to hurt. And it did hurt. And Ragnar's unit did pretty well, killed the Berserker unit, but Khan was in against Lucas and the Bloodclaws, which is my weaker unit. So they got killed, and then Khan came into, just as I finished his unit off, it was his turn, so he had like a 2-inch charge with Khan and his 7 or 8 Berserkers, and I had Ragnar with 5 assault intercessors. And they held each other up, but eventually I lost that combat just due to attrition, really.
Yeah. That's going to be really tough because I'm going to be playing him in 2 weeks' time.
It is a tough list.
Yeah.
At 1,000 points. That's the thing I would say. But the thing was, these rhinos, I took shots at them with like 5-man desolation squad,
Yeah.
200 odd points, super crack missiles. But I still need their strength 10, and his rhinos were toughness 10 in our game.
Yeah.
I know then, they're not technically, but that's
What
what
are they
we
now?
were playing. They're 9.
So they make it a bit. Like,
So
one
I
easier.
was wounded on 4s, not 3s.
Mm.
Is basically what it is.
Yeah.
So I missed more.
Yeah.
Didn't wound more. Sorry. And like the multi-melter on the ATV wounds on a 5 because it's only strength like 8.
Mm.
So I was like, or 9 or whatever it was. So like I just couldn't wound it. So I had all these weapons that do high damage, but you have to get the wounds first. And that's what I found against your Votan. I just find it impossible to kill vehicles.
Yeah.
Like, because you take half the wounds off, it doesn't really affect them much.
What
if at all.
your dreadnought? Is it a plasma?
Yeah.
So strength 9.
Well, Bjorn turn 1 went into combat with the winged demon prince, and they stayed there for like 3 turns.
Was that the smartest idea?
Yeah.
I mean,
Bjorn took 1 wound, and I killed a demon prince.
Oh,
yeah. It
very
really-
writhing.
Bjorn's a beast.
Yeah. Okay.
And the coolest thing about that was, and I think we did this correctly, but maybe not, is monsters and vehicles you can shoot in combat.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep,
So
yep.
Bjorn just point blank shot the demon prince in the face with his plasma cannon, which was amazing.
Yeah. There are rules though in that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I'm trying to think what they
Yeah,
were.
well, if you shoot into a combat,
You
with
have to have a
vehicle-
keyword,
Yeah.
and then you can shoot into
Yeah.
it, but you can only shoot certain weapons.
We looked at it for a while, and we're pretty sure we could do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, normally you can only shoot pistols, but if you're a monster or a vehicle, you can shoot anything, but you suffer them to hit.
The minus the BS
It's
one.
a minus.
Yeah, because
PS.
that's what happened in my game against Chris.
Yeah,
It
we
was-
looked at it for a while. I'm not saying we did it
No,
right.
no. And I'm not saying you did it wrong.
yeah.
It's a bit.
But it was really fun to just shoot a plasma cannon, heavy plasma
But it makes
cannon
sense
in
though,
the
right?
face.
Like,
was
why
so
would a
good.
dreadnought be like, "Oh, sorry, we're too close for me to fire"?
Let me
this."
just back up a little bit.
It reminded me of when Magnus invaded the Fang in
Yeah.
Battle of the Fang,
Yeah.
and Bjorn and him have a fight, and Bjorn is just point blank shooting the plasma cannon into Magnus's face, and it's just like this epic moment. In the
Yeah,
book.
yeah, yeah,
And
it's cool.
it reminded me of that while playing, which doesn't happen as often. I feel in 40k.
Looking at the photos, it does look cool if Ben painted that Demon Prince.
Yeah, it would. It would look cool. Yeah, I would. Do you know what? Like, so, the way the game went is, bloodfest, lots of killing, lots of things died. I didn't play very tactically with some of my units.
Yeah.
So I drew a secondary that was getting to the corners.
Yep.
So my Inceptors I deployed in the corner because they're jump pack guys, they're quick.
Movement, yeah.
But the problem was they were in line of sight of the Forge Fiend, and he went first. So his Forge Fiend deleted my 3 Inceptors, which meant then I didn't score the points for my secondary because it wasn't my
Yeah.
turn, and they were just dead.
So really, what you should have done is deploy them into cover, and then use your advantage of quick movement to get to the corner
Yeah.
in your turn.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
very
okay.
basic nonsense.
Yeah.
But
That's fine.
And
Like,
that
this is the
Forge
first
Fiend is
40k
nasty.
game you've had in a
Yeah,
while.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's just you get overexcited, just
Yeah.
shoot your load early.
We all
Like,
made
it doesn't-
mistakes. So
doesn't matter.
I tell you what, though, Overwatch was brilliant. His
Yep.
Forge Fiend, he ran his Forge Fiend later in the game to grab an objective, but because he was within 24 of my Desolation Marines,
Yeah.
I Overwatched and killed it because I got
Nice.
through, and it had 7 wounds left. I got 1 wound, but the damage is D6 plus 1, and I rolled a 6, so I
Nice.
got the 7 wounds.
Nice.
And so it just died, and I was like, oh.
It does make me want to play. Like,
Yeah, it was really
itching
cool.
to play some 40k.
I'm now itching for a codex. Actually, I want
Okay.
I want a codex. I want to invest in the Space Horse.
All right,
Yeah.
that's
Um,
cool.
So,
So-
what are you looking at to give you anti-armor then?
Well, I don't know, because the thing is, I've got obviously not in that list at 1,000 points that I took, but I normally have my Thunderstrike Speeder, which has the Las Talon and missiles that are like strength 12.
Yeah.
And also that gives a +1 to wound, I believe,
Uh-huh.
any other unit that targets the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's stuff like that to kill vehicles from having chats online with people and looking at a few videos. And it's like you very rarely now have a unit that can kill a vehicle, which obviously in Heresy you have a Predator with las cannons. It blows a tank up. That doesn't exist really in 40k at the moment because the vehicles are tough, particularly the bigger ones. And so actually you need one that can do something, do some wounds, but gives a buff to other units, which will then finish it off. And so I do have that with my ATV, the Speeder, and the Desolations. I just need to make sure all 3 are there in the list. But if I do that, then I lose either some of the power punch and troops on the ground. Like it's that wrestle with 1,000 points, I think, is partly the problem.
Yeah.
Because I think at 1,000 points, like your land fortress is a real problem at 1,000 points. Whereas
So
2K,
with the Rogal Dawn. The Rogal Dawn will be exactly the same.
Whereas in 2K,
but my 40 t-shirt save guardsman, not a problem.
Yeah. And I think that's the kind of interesting thing where we are playing 1,000 points, that actually maybe vehicles feel that much tougher.
Yeah.
Because to get the 2 or 3 units you need to really hammer that vehicle aren't there.
Yeah.
And you need 2 or 3 units to deal with that 1 unit.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. Because at my 2K, like, I have a Knight Lancer. Like, that thing will spear through vehicles like nothing.
Yeah.
But that's a 500 point unit, 400 and something. And yeah, I'm a little bit like, I would like to have a little play around with units, but because they don't have their codex yet, it's a bit like, well, I don't want to invest in things like, so everyone is like, why don't you have Thunderwolf Cavalry? Because they are insanely good.
Yeah.
Because the codex is going to come out and they won't be.
Yeah. Do you have that? Is it on the roadmap? Do you know?
It is in the roadmap, I believe, for this year.
Right. Okay.
But we don't know that for...
No, it's all up in the air, isn't it?
Yeah, but later this year. So I'm a little bit like that. I didn't get the 10 points for painted because I brought the Inceptors. So they're not painted. Everything else is. Nothing of Ben's is fully painted. I kind of, for the kind of game we were playing, I still have a bit of problem that, like, I get 10 points before we even start playing because I painted my models.
Yeah, because I put the effort in.
Yeah, I understand it, but, like, it's like Ben's 3rd game or 2nd game of 40k ever.
Yeah,
to go, you've got a 10-point penalty because you're trying out a list,
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Right. I have put in so many fucking hours to get this 10 points. Yeah. Right.
It was
Why
nice.
are you rubbing the sound desk?
I don't know. It's got this weird finish on the edge there.
Right, you just keep rubbing it, and it's starting to alarm me a little bit.
It's working well. It's just keeping the machine god happy. Giving it a good little rub.
Anything else on your game?
Not really. I just vehicles are so hard to do. Like, I don't know. I just didn't have an answer to 2 rhinos as well, which sounds so pathetic. Because normally, like, you sneeze at a rhino, it dies in heresy.
But they don't. Did he have guns on them? What did he have on them?
Yeah, like the combi bolter and the Havoc launcher.
Why didn't you just ignore them?
Because they were scoring objectives.
Why?
So, because they got objectives.
Oh, everything can score, can't it? Or majority of things can score.
This is what I'm saying. So he parked them on 2 objectives,
and then was like, come out.
And it was cumulative.
Yeah,
so like turn 1 was like 2 points.
Yeah.
Well, turn 2 was 2 points.
Good for Ben.
Yeah. I couldn't. So I went back through on the Wargaming tabletop thing.
Yeah.
Can't remember what it's called. Where you keep your scores. All of the games I've lost, which on the app, since I've used the app, every game I have lost, which is funny. All of them, I have lost because I have scored less in the primary. I have scored more secondaries than every opponent on my app.
So what does that tell you?
That
you're shit.
No. So I think it's about maneuverability.
Okay.
Because I can't get to the primary objectives because my wall of men meets a wall of whatever, and then my armies get stuck. And whereas they've got more units that can, like a rhino that just drives on and goes, I'm scoring 5 points a turn. I don't need to do anything. And now I have to try and kill that rhino off, but I'm still nowhere near scoring. I'm just stopping them scoring. And which is why I added the Inceptors, because they can deep strike.
Yeah.
But then this game I deployed them for like 2 points in a corner, which they didn't even score because they died.
Yeah.
Simple,
because you went for a secondary objective.
I went for a secondary rather than thinking of the primaries.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of tactical.
So there's been a lot of discussion in the Discord over the last month around terrain.
Yeah.
How do you feel the terrain played in your game? Do you feel, because we normally play quite sparse?
Yeah, particularly to nowadays 40k, we play very sparse.
So do you feel like we should be looking at our terrain and adding more in?
I think, I sit both sides.
Right.
So that was one of the arguments that was kind of thrown out there of like, there's probably about 60% of the terrain that you probably need.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, that would only help me to be able to see vehicles. Like,
yeah.
they've got less to hide behind. I'm already struggling with vehicles.
Yeah.
But my inventory was out in the open and got killed.
Yeah.
And if there was more terrain, those 3 Inceptors probably could have deployed in that corner and been blocked line of sight.
Yeah.
I do
Stuff like that. So I think there is we should look at it and be a bit more aware when setting up tables. The thing
I
is,
do like the maps. I do like the maps they provide.
it's very useful. It is
I
very
might try
useful.
and set one up
Yeah.
and see what it looks like.
Yeah, I thought about it. The thing is, again, it's half term. Ben had a spare morning. I had a spare morning.
Yeah.
We threw some terrain on a table, didn't think about it, and played.
Yeah.
And I hate the fact. Hate is probably a strong word. It frustrates me that in a game that's supposed to be quick and easy, you have to really think about stuff like terrain.
Yeah.
Like that kind of feels a bit weird.
What I might do is figure out the footprints that are told to you on in the app, in the pictures, and then get some like chipboard or the ones on MDF board.
Yeah.
And then just cut them out and then just have those as the footprints on the table and just see what it's like for putting terrain on them.
Yeah.
Because that one of those boards is like what, $5? Like they're not that expensive.
Yeah.
I
mean, just use sheet of paper.
Yeah, I've got loads of that.
That's
That
easier.
would be even easier.
Yeah, could do that. And then that because I've got loads of like the building terrain and stuff, so I could very easily do
But it's
it.
also like stuff like different terrain matters. So ruins, you can't see through ruins
Yeah.
unless they're in the ruin.
Yeah.
So like where we play kind of true line of sight, like I can see you through that window.
Oh, I don't know. Actually, I won't say that. No, don't about it.
But you know what I mean. So it's like we would traditionally be like, I can see through the window. You'll get a cover save.
Yeah,
but I'm just going to shoot
I'm
through
the window
because that would happen.
Yeah.
Whereas in this, it's like no, like I'm behind that building. You can't see me.
But I can see why they stopped that.
It's quick
because
and easy.
It's quicker. You don't dick
arguments.
around with like line of sight and stuff.
Yeah.
I do get what they're doing.
Oh yeah.
Like and shooting out of terrain. Like if you're in a build, like imagine you're in an abandoned building, right? Shooting out of that is way easier than shooting from one side of the building to the other side of the building.
Yeah,
and getting a
100%.
straight shot through.
Yes,
Like the cover saves aren't good enough.
Yeah.
To make it hard enough to do.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with the rule. It's just you gotta remember that. Like that's the thing. It was like 40K felt like a very different game, not just due to the rules, but because of the way you interact with things.
Yeah. Okay.
And that was really like, I forgot about this. I didn't.
Yeah.
But it was great to roll some dice. It has made me go, I want to play more 40K.
Yeah.
And it reminded me that I do really like 10th edition.
Yeah.
And I think if I play more, I'll know my stratagems more.
Yep.
So I'll use them at better times.
Yep.
I was spending most of my command points to just like rerolls and stuff like that because I was like, I vaguely know what
Basic bits for stratagems. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Rather
like
than,
one
the
of the
was like you can jump in the air and fire 2 icicle daggers at someone.
Well, so like one of the arguments was my assault intercessors, right? Actually, assault intercessors would be really good to kill vehicles.
Yep.
They're not high strength, but they get reroll wounds
Yep.
because they have a rule that gives them that.
More opportunities. Yeah.
And you can use stratagem grenades, which basically makes their attacks like anti-vehicle.
Yeah.
So then suddenly like wounds on 4 or 5 or whatever doesn't matter about the toughness; they just go through.
Yeah.
Because it's got anti.
Which is what you want, right?
Yeah, and that's just a 1-point stratagem. But I didn't even know existed.
No.
Or-
I think that's the point.
Right,
I think we have moved away in 40k from like I've got like 75 different strategies I can do. So they have made it way easier.
Yes, they have.
But and I think that's why I've bought the cards for them. Is I can because for me and the way that my brain works, I need the physical card in front of me to go. Oh yeah, I can play this stratagem now.
I'm
rather
the
than-
same. That's what and that's why I want a codex
Yeah.
because actually the index cards, half of the stuff on there has changed.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Not loads, but a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, actually, I want a codex. Give me a new set of cards. I'm now ready.
Yeah.
So I'm out. That's where
I'm in. Damn it.
to the point where I'm like, do I actually buy the Tyranid stuff? Because I've got 1,000-point Tyranid, and they've got codex.
If the codex and stuff's out, why the fuck not?
Like
put it on
I would like to play the Space Wolves
on a Father's Day
Yeah,
gift list or
but that's I'm now going. Maybe this is the time to go. Okay, I'll play 40k and I'll learn this codex and I'll learn these units.
well, let's just
It
get
just-
Neil to play Tau, and then let's learn it together.
Yeah.
Neil, Tau,
Crew.
Are you gonna do a crew army? Please do a crew army.
I've got the box.
Good. Build it up, paint it.
Doesn't come with any hounds though.
No, it doesn't come with
need a 20 quid box of hounds.
Yeah.
But yes.
Cool. Games? Anything else?
No, I don't think so. I just want to get more in.
I've got 2 games in the next 2 weeks.
Mm.
So I'm playing Liam next Friday, and I'm playing Ben the Friday after that.
Yeah, we talked about getting a date in for at the time
ZM.
Heresy ZM.
Maybe do 40k.
Maybe thinking 40k. If you're playing 2 games of 40k, then we might as well make that 3.
I'm basically making Fridays instead of going to Air Cadets, I'm just going to play 40k games.
Friday night's a good night.
We should do it.
Ooh.
I've got a free Friday night on the 14th.
For you two, maybe.
It's a good night for me because I'm at home. Whether that's a good night for Jenny, not entirely sure.
Well, the 14th or the 28th.
Thing is, if we can play at mine, then I can say to Jenny, "Why don't you go out?" And we'll do it in 3 weeks' time, and she can find someone to go and have dinner with or whatever.
Okay. So I have it at my house.
Yeah.
Like I'll probably it means I'll do it after Ray goes to bed, so I'll be over at like 8 rather than or when bedtime starts.
I have the same problem.
100%. So at that point it'll be a later game, but at least it's still a game.
Yeah,
it's only 1,000 points, right? Oh, but then I'll be a pro.
Yeah.
I'll be 3 games in.
You'll be 3 games in, so you'll be fine.
Ooh.
I won't be
with my codex. You can come. Just come and sit and.
Well, I'll probably be either Amy will be coming over or I'll be going to Amy's.
Bring Amy. I like Amy. She's alright.
She doesn't want to watch you play Warhammer.
Okay.
True.
That's a shame. I'd like to watch her play Warhammer.
Again, she doesn't want to learn how to play Warhammer.
I don't want to make a comment.
I broached this subject with Kelly the other day about playing Warhammer.
Yeah.
I was saying, I've got all these models and I feel like I don't play them. And she was like, well, why don't we play? And I was like, sorry? And she was like, no, I'm joking. I don't want to play Warhammer.
Don't tempt me, Frodo.
I was like, honestly, we could do this. Like, I'd be so game. We've got 2 codex. We've got the 2 different factions as well. Wouldn't it be loyalists versus loyalists? Yeah, I could do this. But yeah, I'm stoked to play more games, and I think at the moment where I am with like with my finite amount of time, I at the moment I'm prioritizing Air Cadets. But if I feel in my mind, which is on a Friday night, if I then go, well, I'm gonna play 40k instead, just go and do that. Like it feels way easier for me to be like, I was gonna be out anyway, so it makes it easier for me to game.
Yes.
Yeah.
What I need is a gaming club that meets on a Friday.
Yeah, we'll start one.
I don't.
But then you got to manage one, right?
That's it.
That's the problem.
Someone's at the front
You've got a
door.
very busy house today.
Who's this? Oh, hello, Fresh. Yeah.
Goodbye, Fresh.
Goodbye, Fresh. Yeah, it's then I have to run a game club. I don't want to run anything. I just want to turn up and play and enjoy it. And I can't.
I fully hear it. I do fully hear it. I'd love that. It's just weekends are weekends. There's just I already take one out for this,
and that's it, right? So next month I've got a DV in the calendar. So that's already a weekend out. My parents are coming that weekend.
This is the conversation we have.
This is the problem.
God.
This is the problem child weekend. Actually, it's not. No, it is. Yeah, it is.
It's not. No, yeah.
No. Recorded the podcast is already in for the 29th of March.
Yes, we have March done.
Oh, that's fine then. That's not a problem then.
Thank you.
I thought you were going to say it's that week.
No. It's the week before.
Yeah, I think you may have already known about it because we set the date
ages ago.
ago.
Anyway, we're not talking about that now. Any other games, or we're going to move on to any other random bullshit we're talking about?
Other media / other discussion. I don't know what to call this section. So as this is kind of online stuff, books, other life. It's just other. I'll call it other. Take out media.
Just random things we want to talk about.
Miscellaneous.
I'll go first because I feel like I haven't said anything in a while.
No, definitely not.
Really?
Yeah, it's quite quiet. I'm quite a quiet person.
Oh yeah.
So I realised that I've been paying for Audible.
Years.
Oh crap! Yes.
Yeah.
See, I sorted this out like months ago.
No. So I've been paying for Audible. Every time it comes out, I'm like, oh yeah, I need to cancel that, and I never do. So this month, again, when we're sitting and looking at money and stuff, I was like, absolutely fuck Audible, right? I don't need it. But I had 4 credits.
Yeah, you got.
So I bought Knights of Macragge, Throne of Light, The Wolf Time, which are all the Avenging Sons next ones, and then I bought Cadia Stands because that's the
Wolf Time.
Wolf Time. It's about space wolves and how they get touched up by Gilliman's new boys.
Oh, interesting.
Is how I understand it. I haven't really looked in it too much, but Wolf Time. So I bought those. Really excited about those. I've been off of, and the reason my Audible's kind of just trundled along in the background is because I haven't really been listening to audiobooks recently. I went for a massive push in audiobooks, and now I've withdrawn that a little bit. Really, for me, I've been focusing on the D&D podcast I was talking about before, Dungeons and Daddies. I've listened to all of their season 1, which is like 80 something episodes. Their filler season in between, which is kind of like their gap, which is where they all play dogs and go on a hunt as dogs. So it's like, what do they call it? Homeward Bound meets Lassie
Oh,
type,
okay.
type of thing.
Interesting.
It's quite funny. It was really funny. And now they've just started season 2, which is a continuation of season 1. And I when I went away, I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to listen to an audiobook. And I sort of started it, and I was like, yeah, I kind of fancy the podcast again. I was going to listen to that. So I've kind of been on podcast high.
That's cool.
But I think I will get back to 40k books. I was really enjoying them. I just think I need to. It will kind of snowball itself.
Yeah, I've started listening to a 40k book.
Go on.
Hellwinter Gate, which is the round out trilogy of following Yarn Hammer Pack. So this is Ingvar. We covered the first book on the podcast.
Yeah.
So it's where Space Wolf comes back from the Death Watch and has to get back into his squad, and then his mate gets like kind of tainted by Nurgle, but also unlocks his psychic latency and craziness. Then the second one's called Stormcaller, which has Nijal in it, or Niall, however you say his name. And then it was quite a long time until Hellwinter Gate came out. Now, classic GW, Hellwinter Gate come out, it was available, now it is not available.
Right.
So the only way I can consume it is by listening to it. So it popped up on Audible, so I went with one of my credits before I cancelled my credit.
Honestly, anybody listen to Audible, you should cancel your Audible, and then it gives you a $5.99 option for the same thing.
Yeah, really.
Like when I tried to cancel it, it was like you can get 1 credit a month, and we'll lower it to $5.99
really?
forever. Or you can do like a couple of months off, and we'll give you like 2 credits now. Like they give you options.
Yeah.
If you're paying $7.99 for your Audible, fucking cancel it and try and get it
see
cheaper.
if it pops up. But yeah, I bought it with one of my like 7 credits I had before I cancelled. And I've listened to like the first chapter. Yeah, it's a story that I want to finish and have wanted to finish for a long time. I have to admit, I consumed the first 2 as books, and I have them as books.
Right.
The third one, I would have liked to have done that.
Yeah.
And I've not been gripped so far. The first chapter it's fine.
And do you think that's because it's not a book?
Partly because I was doing things while listening,
rather
than sitting there and really consuming. Also, it's because it's the third one.
Yeah.
It's kind of the first chapter was really like, remember this happened.
Yeah, it's got
and it's a bit like,
continuation arcs, isn't it? So
yeah,
it's a bit more challenging.
Yeah, and so it hasn't grabbed me yet, but I'm hoping it will, and I'm sure it will, because I enjoyed the other 2, and then that will kind of round out that trilogy. So hopefully more of that this month.
I bought quite a few computer games this month as well.
Oh,
they had the sale on, so I bought a Star Wars bundle where they get
cool.
I got is it the X-Wing fighter?
Oh yeah,
the one where you basically play
Rogue Squadron.
Yeah, something like that.
Is it called Rogue Squadron? I feel like it's something Squadron.
You've got it depends if it was the one that was on N64 and then moved over to GameCube.
There was a newer one.
No,
there's a newer one.
So it is Squadrons. It's called
I
Squadrons.
thought Squadron was in it.
So I got Squadrons, but also at the same time,
just what? Star Wars Squadrons.
Star Wars Squadrons.
Oh, okay.
And you play as it's a campaign, but you play both the Empire and the
Rebel
like
side. A TIE fighter pilot, right?
And an X-Wing pilot. Yeah. So it's quite cool. I like the way it jumps between the 2. I also picked up as part of that bundle the 2 Star Wars. What's it called? I played it before.
Force
Awakens, and then the second one.
Yeah.
No, not Force Awakens. What are we going on about?
You play as the dude.
Jedi Survivor.
You're talking
Fallen
about
Order, or
the new with Cal Kestis.
Yeah, hang on.
Sorry,
There's
Fallen
that one.
Order.
I was wondering whether
Fallen
he was
Order
talking
and
about
then Survivor.
Starkiller.
Fallen Order and Survivor.
Yeah, I was thinking of Starkiller as well.
Yeah.
So I picked up Fallen Order and
I can't think what they're called.
Picked up Fallen Order and Survivor.
That's it.
And also got Battlefront 2 in the same bundle. Again, it was all in the bundle.
The original Battlefront or the new?
Two.
No.
Celebration edition.
The original Battlefront.
Not the original.
No,
2 or the other.
No, it's the Celebration edition.
Yeah.
So I picked up those. I also picked up a new one called Timberborn.
Yes, I saw this in your notes.
Timberborn is my new...
your new farming simulator.
My new farming simulator. I haven't played Farming Simulator in like a month.
Oh, wow.
But I've been playing Timberborn, playing the absolute shit out of Timberborn. And basically, you play as a colony of beavers who are post-apocalyptic world, and you build your own beaver city. You have to do. Honestly, it's fucking great. You have to obviously get food. You
Sounds like a mobile game.
I don't know. It's pretty cool. You plant food. You have to harvest water through pumping logs. You pump a log up and down, and it puts water, and it's great. There's so much sexual innuendo in this game. It's unreal.
Yeah, of course it is.
You build like dams and levees.
You're a
and
beaver
stuff.
to start with.
Exactly. And then you basically have to work on the happiness and get it up. And I've got to the point in my work. So the first one, I absolutely fucking like.
I was
murdered.
mature enough not to react to that one.
Gotta make your hairy beaver happy.
Exactly. A wet beaver gives you extra points.
Oh, yeah.
So there's
foreplay is important.
so many innuendos, and so the first time I played it, I basically just didn't really fuck what I was doing and just murdered a load of beavers. And so now the second one I did is actually thriving. And
You've got a colony that actually isn't getting massacred.
Yeah, it's like
they're like humans hunting you or something.
No. So it's post-apocalyptic. Humans are dead, so there's like ruins. Okay. There's ruins everywhere. So that's how you get metal. You plant trees for obviously getting wood. You get stuff called a bad tide, which is basically like
Is
shit.
it like radioactive, so the beavers have got cleverer to understand metal?
Yeah. So the beavers are bigger as well, so they're about the same size as humans in the kind of scale to the buildings.
Okay.
And you have like two factions. You have to play the game to unlock the second faction. The second faction is like harder to play, but more like technology.
Okay.
So like rather than reproducing like by having a
scientist
beaver fun time, you have got scientist beavers. So rather than having like just couples in houses that make babies, you have birthing pods, which are like just like genetically grown clone beavers. So yeah, really good game. I think with the colony I've got now, it's getting to the point where I can do anything I want, and there's no real challenge there anymore. Yeah. Like I've built like how to deal with these bad tides.
Do you ever get like attacked or something?
No. So the bad tide. What happens is, so you've got a central river flowing through the map, and that comes from springs. You have droughts where the water stops. Yeah. So obviously all your plants die. So you have to you have to gather water and stockpile it to be able to survive those. And then you have bad tides, which is effectively just like shit rivers.
Yeah.
And that kills and pollutes your land.
So you need to like dam it.
So you dam it. So the way you either do, so you can deal with it and just let it flow through, and then it kind of they're really short, so you get over it. But the idea is you basically have to learn how to deal with it. Yeah. So with the bad tides, what I've done in mine is where the bad tide comes from. I've built a separate kind of like sluice gate. Yeah. So when the bad tide happens, I basically open that and send it a different direction down the map away from my area. Yeah. And then when it's a drought, I've got step dams down, so I store water that way.
Trap water.
Yeah. So then it keeps the ground around it wet. So yeah, new farming simulator.
Timberborn.
Fantastic.
Timberborn. I highly recommend it. If you like survival games, you like those kind of like planning games, you have to do like resource management, set up like villages and stuff.
So is it all like third person?
So it's a top down.
It is top down.
It is top down. However, there is a mode where you can go in as a beaver and walk around your village, and you see all the beavers running around doing things. Honestly, it's amazing.
Oh, awesome.
It's far more chill than Farming Simulator.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Like, just watch your beavers do things.
Okay. Yeah.
But you create like, you have to make them happy. So you create like a beaver carousel, which is like you also get power from like water wheels.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Water wheels. So that generates like your factories who make planks and make gears and stuff. So then you have like that. When you get excess power, like I've got now, you can put stuff in like a carousel, which is they sit on this kind of like thing and it spins around. Yeah. And it's pretty fun. I watched a couple of videos on it to start with.
Yeah.
And Kelly was like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
Like, this is the game I want to get. And now every now and then when I play on my lunch break or something, rather than painting,
she's like, "You beavers happy?"
She's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" So I'm happy I locked her in early.
That's brilliant.
And married her soon, because otherwise I don't think it would work anymore.
Yeah.
I think she would divorce me. But that's all my extra random bullshit for this month.
Cool. Yeah. All right. So,
I was going to ask. You were 3D printing stuff last time. You were 3D printing walkways.
Was I?
Yeah. That was last time. It was walkways. You were printing them. You sent us pictures of the prints.
Was it?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was last
that
time.
was last time. I swear that was the time before that.
It might be.
Hang on.
Hold on. Please wait whilst I talk some random jargon until...
Talk wherever you want to talk now.
So yeah, see, last month we had to record early because I went on holiday to Norway for a week. So did a few things. Went to some sculpture parks, etc. Did tobogganing. It was a bad choice of day that we went because we did it at the end of the holiday rather than the beginning.
How did your old bones survive?
My old bones survived
like dust or
no dust, just really, really painful because some of the gaps in the dips were, I don't know, 50 centimetres. There were
undulations
that were about half a metre in difference. And
so really good spine killers.
Launching over one of those and then landing on the ground afterwards was uncomfortable to say the least.
Nice.
Yeah. But it was fun. Just definitely don't.
Was
need
it
to
nice
do it
going
again.
on holiday?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I remember before you never used to go on holiday.
No, I know, and now I do.
No, you do. It's good.
So the beginning of the week, as I said, we probably did things in the wrong order. We went to a spa.
Yeah, you definitely the wrong order. So you went to a spa, got nice and relaxed, and then you went and crushed your spine.
So obviously, in a UK spa,
you were naked.
Oh yes, we've had this conversation. When did we have this? Was this on the Hangout?
This was probably on the Hangout. But
yeah, don't worry.
For those of you that
I had
weren't
a flashback
at the
moment.
Hangout, so we went to a spa called The Well. A very nice spa. If you want to wear swimwear, you have to buy their swimwear. Very clever.
Okay,
that's strange. You have to specifically buy it.
Is that because it's like a natural spring, therefore they don't want like synthetic or?
Yeah, probably.
Like
that's how they'll get
some
away
other
with it.
reason that they come
There's
up
probably
with.
some other reason, but it's a load of rubbish. But yeah, so we had to buy their specific swimwear to wear.
Why?
Because
why did you wear swimwear? Like like this kind of stuff, right? You're in a different country. The likelihood of you seeing anyone you know is relatively low. So, who gives a fuck? Fly your Todger free. Let it breathe, right? Like a traditional spa. Why the hell not? Like you get them in Japan, like the onsens and stuff.
It's onsen, yeah.
And I've talked about it before, and I was like, why the fuck would you not?
Because you're taught that your body is like,
shameful. It's not.
Yeah,
beautiful.
kind of.
We have an interluder.
Oh no, that's fine. That's Jasper.
Okay. So yeah, obviously, us as the English, most of us are quite prudish. So it was definitely eye opening.
Yeah.
Sort of walking in, having a quick swim around the hydrotherapy pool, and then Amy went off for her massage. So I've then sat down on one of the sofas, relaxed, turned to my left, and gone, well, I can't look that way anymore. As there's a lady just unveiling absolutely everything.
Did you have to get a pillow?
No, I didn't have to get a pillow.
He had swimwear on.
I had swimwear. It's fine.
Held everything in.
Yeah.
Just flip over.
And then a bit later after I'd had my massage where I was absolutely pummeled to bits.
Yeah.
Again, there's quite a lot of naked people walking around, and it's just not something.
Fine,
it's not something you're used to, but it's just like there's naked boobies, other bits, boobies.
I get it. I do get it. Maybe I'm a bit more liberal. That wouldn't bother me. Like, I'd let my naked freak flag fire free.
I'm a bit more self-conscious about.
But you don't know anyone.
Yeah. No, I know.
You don't know anyone.
Still, it doesn't matter. There's still that thing in the brain that says.
Yeah, I get you. It's a powerful bit.
I would struggle with it until then. It was like, there's no going back, and then within 10 minutes, I'd be like, yeah, who cares?
My thing would be
getting there. I would have found very difficult.
Yeah.
What else have I done? I really can't remember what else I've done. Stuff's happened. Haven't really listened to anything. Haven't really read anything.
No.
Yeah, just it's just been busy at work.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Bit boring for me, really.
That's all right. That's no problem. You had a lovely holiday. That's not boring. I'm glad you enjoyed yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, that's our kind of Legion of Three. That's what we've been up to for the last it's nearly 6 weeks, I think, since recording. We'll take a quick break and then we'll come back with our spotlight.
Hi, I'm Neil, and you may remember me from such things as Who's Neil? My dog ate my hobby project, and Tau, fish or friend. I'm here to tell you about our Element Games affiliate program. So as you may know, running the podcast does incur some costs. Hosting and equipment are just 2 examples of this. To help with these running costs, we have signed up to the Element Games Wargaming Web Store affiliation program. This is where Element Games provide us with unique links to their web store, and if you use our links, then we get a percentage of what you spend, big or small, to help run and improve the podcast. The links take you to Element Games homepage or straight to the 40k products category. Simply shop from there. You can find these links in our featured posts on the Facebook Community Safe Room, on our Discord channel, and on our Instagram. Thanks for your help and support.
Well, welcome back. It's not the Spotlight. Sorry for that blunder. I said we'll have an advert break and come back for the Spotlight. But it's actually Operation Kill Team time.
Yay!
Woo! Second ever segment on this. We're actually going to, for this episode, look at the joint ops feature, I guess, of this current Kill Team edition. I don't know, what would you call it?
How
This
high?
rule set?
How high is the joint ops?
We'll find out
Okay.
in this segment.
I think edition is the right way because it's Kill Team 2.0, isn't it?
Kind of.
Something
Well,
like that.
kind of. It's really like, hey, we've reimagined Kill Team,
Yeah.
so it's kind of just Kill Team. But they have a feature where you can team up with your buddies and play basically a PvE experience, so player versus environment, where there are MPO characters for the enemy Kill Team.
Yep.
And they have standard behaviors that they follow, etc.
Okay.
And the idea, you can play them solo. So it's a way of just playing like you've got no friends, so you can play.
Or you don't have friends near you.
Yeah. I didn't mean as in you are friendless.
You have no friends.
You just
No one likes
Yeah.
you, so you play Kill Team on your own.
But
You're
yeah.
sick of masturbating.
Or you can join up with a friend that either you want to get into. I'm trying to just move on now. Try and get someone into Kill Team, or there's many reasons why you might do this version of the game. But it's a completely new concept for us, as is Kill Team in this edition.
Is it the same? Sorry, so is it the same rule set? But it's just you've got this round.
Pretty much,
You've got
yeah.
almost. So it's kind of like Hero Quest or Space Crusade.
Yeah, or what we used to do
Yes, yeah,
at Geek,
Yeah.
effectively.
yeah, kind of, yeah.
Because you and Deep Rock Galactic the same sort of thing. You don't have to play as a DM.
The Deep Rock is closer to it because it is just
they
you
go
roll
to
some dice, things happen, turn over a card, things happen.
Yeah, they go
Whereas
towards the
a
nearest
Hero
enemy,
Quest, you have a mind controlling the monsters.
Well, if you play like that, if you use they've got an app,
Yes,
Hero
they do.
Quest, where
Yeah.
you can play, then the computer will tell you where to move people to. Oh, I feel a bit quieter. There we go. Maybe that's better. The computer will tell you where to move people to, and it does it for you. So
Yeah.
it's although it's a computer telling you where to go, there's still program behavior.
yes,
in there,
yeah.
right?
But in general, like if you were playing Hero Quest with say us three,
yeah.
Whereas the idea is obviously from what I've gathered from the little reading I've done, that your NPO opponents, and they're called NPO, I'm not non-person operative, I think, have basic behavior. So if it's a brawler, it would move towards the closest of our team if me and Sam were playing together. So all we're going to do really is look at joint ops a little bit deeper, go through the basic rules and look at mission 1 of the Deadly Sniper mission pack. Now you can get this through the app, the Kill Team app, or through the Warhammer community webpage if you're using a web browser. And it has basically the rules and how you set up and how you choose what you're playing, the MPO behaviors, and then we'll if we get through that and that's a lengthy time, we'll stop there. But if not, we're going to look at the first mission.
Oh, they've brought out.
So it's like a 3-mission little campaign that you can do.
They brought out Titus.
Yeah, there's a Titus
Rules.
one as well.
Man, this is cool.
Yeah.
I'm in, guys.
Yeah, it sounds really interesting. It's
I'm gonna
kind of a
play with
slightly new way
myself.
of doing. Yeah,
Yeah, you are.
Is it this one we're looking at? This is the
Yes, the Deadly Sniper mission pack.
Yeah,
Cool.
see, I
Yeah.
still haven't downloaded
Now,
this, so-
obviously, we haven't got the full rulebook.
Nope.
We're just playing off the app and stuff, and it does talk about using the campaign Volcus book, which is like where the main rulebook is. But it seems from the little skimming I've done, you can play with the light rules and it would still work. But yeah, this is player versus environment, PvE. This is a mission pack for cooperative or solo. The way it works is you have your MPO non-player operatives. There you go, I did get it right. On one side, the way that works, and we'll talk about kill team selection, but there's different roles within the kill team are worth a certain amount of wounds, and you have a max amount of wounds for that mission. So the enemy kill team grows or shrinks depending on what your choices are, either available or just choices because that's what you want to play with, whatever. The joint op people, so the 2 people if you were co-oping it, play 1 kill team and just take control of various operatives. So it's not 2 kill teams versus 1 MPO.
Right. Okay. Sorry. I was thinking.
So yeah, it's explained a little bit more in selection, so we'll get there. So obviously this pack, Deadly Sniper, is 3 missions, which basically are intended. There's an expert sniper who's shooting your dudes, and you'll come in to try and obviously stop that from happening. But he has some help, which is the rest of the enemy kill team. And you play through the missions, and then once you've played those, you carry on, and by the end of the 3, I guess you eliminate the sniper. But I haven't read that far into the pack.
Fair enough.
In terms of kill team selection, so the players use 1 kill team. So standard selection process from a standard game. Obviously, if you're playing solo, simply you select your kill team as normal. If you're playing cooperative, either select a kill team as normal and split the operatives, or take half of any kill team each. I think this gets a little wonky because it doesn't explain exactly how to do that. And in your kill team selection, you obviously are told you can bring 9 operatives.
Yep.
So is that 4.5?
Oh, but it's like it's
Right,
kind of like when we did when you did the like a not campaign, an event, what's it called? When you have 2 people playing an event. Doubles, right? It's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same points pool, but it just kind of goes across. So I
Yes,
guess
so you can either bring, like, I could bring my cat chance.
to be fair,
and Neil could bring half his crew.
it would make way more sense for you to bring 1,
Yeah, I believe so.
and then you just split them between
That's
you.
that's what I would happily do. I'd happily play, whatever one we were playing, and just go, cool, you take the Shaper and a Hound and a whatever, and we'll just play together using my kill team. And I think that would help, because then the person who runs that kill team can kind of help the non-experienced player.
Yeah.
Because it's their kill team, right?
Yeah.
That's how I would probably do that. It would also feel, I think you'd have to then, depending on the kill team selections, you're like shoehorning in reasons. Like doing my catch hands fighting with the crew versus another random human MPO.
Yeah.
It's a bit like, why is that?
It would make way more sense to just have the crew versus the...
Yeah, I think that would just be much easier to do. It does say round up or down, depending on the challenge, if you have an odd number of operatives.
There we go.
So depending on how skilled you want to feel. So it does say if you take separate teams, remember that some rules specify certain operatives through keywords. So one kill team's rules won't necessarily interact with another, which is another reason to take just one kill team and split the models, because then your whole army in this case is benefiting from your faction keywords,
Right. Okay.
because they're all from the same faction, which is something to think about, which is quite cool they put that in there. And then you basically procedurally generate non-player operatives. MPOs are mostly standard soldiers, frontline troop guards, etc. But they are backed up by, in this case, a deadly sniper. And as such, you don't select a kill team for them. Instead, you use the appropriate data cards, which are in this pack, to create your own kind of enemy, I guess.
Right. Okay. Right.
Each mission specifies how many MPOs you should include to accompany the sniper, and this is determined by their combined wounds stat. And to increase and decrease the difficulty, they say simply increase or decrease the number of the wounds.
Okay.
So it kind of self-adjust. And then you basically, with initiative, you would roll off to decide who has the initiative. You roll a dice for the MPOs and a dice for you, your solo or co-op kill team. If the MPOs win, then they always choose to have initiative and go first.
Fair enough.
So the MPOs, you have a brawler, marksman, are kind of their behaviours.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And you have the 3 types of people. So troopers, tough and heavy.
Yes. Yeah, so you got trooper, brawler, trooper, marksman, tough brawler, warrior marksman, heavy brawler, heavy marksman. And it tells you what they have, like firearm, knife. Like they're very vague on the weapons and stuff, so you can kind of make do with any models
What
you've got.
Yeah, quite.
Which makes a lot of sense.
It doesn't, because it means that unless you're a marksman, you don't have a gun.
Yeah.
So all of the brawlers are, well, they're brawlers, I guess. So that makes sense.
Yeah. So for example, for me, with my Catachans, any brawlers, I'd use Catachans with bayonets.
Oh, I see. So
Yeah,
you don't
just
just
to
have
show
one
them.
marksman that is the marksman
No,
up on the roof.
They all have those two.
Oh, so you could, so as the Catachans, for example, all of them have guns. So I'd go, okay, well, you're a trooper, a warrior, and a heavy. Like, I wouldn't worry about probably taking any brawlers.
Well, yeah, you could choose to make them all marksmen,
Yeah.
but obviously this is your standard behaviour, so this is what you do.
Yeah.
So you need to clarify your MPOs as what they are.
Yeah.
So again, if I was using my Catachans as the MPOs, I'd go, right, well, these guardsmen with bayonets on the end of their rifles will be my brawlers.
Yep.
Because they have blades.
Yeah.
And then the ones without will be the marksmen who have firearms. And that's an easy way of seeing and playing the game quickly without having to kind of go, is that a brawler or is that a marksman?
Yeah.
So a brawler, when activated, he performs either one of the first two actions, fight or charge. And that will be charge the closest player operative via the shortest possible route. So just angry man. This is obviously during that activation when they get an engage order. If it cannot do those, then it is given a conceal order, which basically means it's like hiding. It also has reposition and dash, which I'm not entirely sure. So it says can perform either of its first two actions during that activation. But you have reposition and dash on top of the other two, so I don't understand what that means.
Say that again.
So you've got, I'm looking at the brawler behaviours.
Yep.
It says, when activated, if this MPO can perform either of its first two actions during that activation, give it an engage order. If it cannot, give it a conceal order.
Okay.
So
right?
the other
two you would do during a conceal order.
Yeah. So if, like, for instance, so
okay.
the reposition basically says reposition towards the closest player operative to cover if possible.
Yeah.
So that would be I'm assuming your conceal.
Yes.
And then
and then dash.
And then
is the
you
same.
can then dash to get the rest of the way or
Yeah.
whatever.
I think that would be more clear if we were more versed in kill team rules.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool. That makes clear. And then the marksman can either, if it can perform a shoot, then it gets an engage order, and so obviously it shoots. If not, then it gets conceal order, and then you get fall back to cover, and then the same reposition and dash for the same as the brawlers. So basically, you just, if it can shoot or charge, it does so. If it can't, I guess you decide which of the other ones it does, which kind of takes away, I guess it still keeps that environment, but you are then dictating by making the call for the enemy. Like, you're going to fall back, or you're going to reposition, or you're going to dash.
But then could you not just make it a random? Could you not just make it random and say on a 1-2?
Yeah, you could do that.
3-4 reposition.
Yeah, it doesn't break the game at all.
No,
but it's just an interesting conundrum on how do you decide those things and not let that affect like your benefit, right? Because it's like, oh well, actually, if they fall back, I get more room to advance.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make them fall back. Well, then actually, you're just making it easier for yourself.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting quandary. So this might help us. Threat principle is a kind of a rule for the MPOs that you have to pay attention to, which is when making decisions for MPOs, use the threat principle. Go with the option that's worst for you, which I like. This can determine which ready MPO activates, how an MPO moves, shoots and fights, how to resolve their dice, etc. There are a few examples below containing decisions in order of priority. So activation priority, multiple MPOs are ready, so the player activate the MPO that can perform the fight or shoot action from its behaviour, and is the most threatening to do so. E.g., if it's more likely to incapacitate an enemy operative, it's more likely to prevent the players winning, etc. If it can't do that, number 2 is it's not in cover from a player operative, so it's just out in the open.
Yep.
So it's obviously going to want to get behind some cover or whatever. And then the last activation priority is it's closer to a player operative. Obviously, player operatives are the models we're playing in our kill team.
Yeah.
Just if someone hasn't cottoned onto that.
That makes sense though. People
Yeah.
that can do stuff do it. If you can't do it, then you're second. If you're close to an operative after that, you're third.
Yeah. And then an MPO performs the shoot action and multiple enemy operatives are valid. It shoots the enemy operative that is not obscured. And then if they're all obscured, the one that's not in cover, which I don't know how it would be not obscured, but anyway.
Because cover's not necessarily obscured. So obscured can be through one of your troopers.
Yeah, that's true.
Or not stood behind cover or in base contact with that cover, so you are just obscured by it rather than in cover.
Okay, I get you. And then
That's
after
my understanding of it.
Yeah. Then number 3 is the closest model. And then 4 is a wounded model.
Yeah.
If you get that far down the list. And then 5 is just a model that is ready.
Which is cool because at that point you kind of go, someone's getting shot here.
Yeah, someone has to get shot. And then the fight action only has 2. It's the one that's more likely to incapacitate, or if they're the same or you're not sure, then just a model that is ready.
Yeah, which is cool.
Which makes complete sense. And that's the standard behaviours of the MPOs.
I think that's cool though, because if you think about like so far with this, we're fairly new to kill team. We haven't played a game just yet. We're kind of looking at kill teams and how missions work. This is a great way for us to, on our own in our own time, mess around and figure out how kill team works.
It could be a really cool idea to do that actually, as a way of just playing, almost learning the rules for kill team in a solo atmosphere.
Yeah. I might try and
to
do this
play
in the
each
next
other.
month.
Yeah,
like because I've got 2 kill teams. So why they don't?
Oh yeah, I certainly think we should at least one of us, if not 2 of us, do the co-op version or solo, so we can go. This is how it worked for me.
Yeah.
As well as potentially play a game of kill team if we're feeling really bold.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's it really. It's quite basic and simple, which I like. Either it works really well because of that, or is a little bit too simple, and I'd want some more. Without playing, it's hard to know.
I think this will be a good way to sort of get an idea of how things work. Yeah, and then we can come to it once we've done it. We can sort of come back and go, right, okay, how did you find this? Blah 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 blah. So on and so forth, etc. etc. And then we can
it'll be interesting to see, because I know, like, I think when you first played Necromunda, it was like, oh, my guys go down super easy. And I didn't really realise that, so now cover's way more important. Like, you can learn that in this kind of safe environment.
Yeah, and I think it also means that I can, like, so the kill teams I've already got, so the Kasrkins and Orcs, for example, I can play this twice. One, I'll play the Orcs, and against the Kasrkins who just have these standard rules, or I'll do it the other way around to kind of learn the different factions. Yeah, I like this. This is cool. The missions also look quite good.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm not... Well, they give you the mission, like the terrain layout, which will be interesting to try and figure out how to do that. But I think it's cool. I think it'd be good.
Yeah. And then you get the data cards, which obviously have, like I say, the Trooper, Brawler, and Marksman, a Tough, a Warrior, a Heavy. Now, these all have wound selections, and that's how you build your total MPO kill team. So you can either have, more like Heavies and Warriors rather than Troopers, but you'd have a lot less because they've got higher wound counts than the Troopers. So you can either have lots of models or a few, which I guess you can either dictate just due to having a mix, or because if you're using Orcs, having all tough brawlers as a narrative choice could be a thing. Yeah. But you will obviously have less models. But also, the other side of that is if you don't have that many models, you just point in the more specialist, I guess.
How many points? Sorry, did you say how many wounds?
Each mission. Depends.
Oh.
So for example, a heavy marksman is 14 wounds.
Okay. So mission 1, for example, you can only have 90 wounds.
Yeah.
In the MPOs.
In the whole MPO kill team, which doesn't include the sniper in this because that's the narrative.
Yeah.
It's like separate. But yeah, so I was just going to run through mission 1.
Yep.
As a kind of, this is how you set up and this is how you go, and then we'll just chat about the idea of playing some joint ops. So mission 1 is called Sniper's Alley. You have the MPOs. You have one sniper MPO who's set up on the highest vantage terrain of Stronghold B. Now that's on the map. You have very clearly labelled, and it's really interesting to see terrain pieces they've used, like ruined buildings, particularly.
They've used their the new terrain.
The terrain kit that comes out. That makes sense.
Yeah, so it's the square buildings, ruins, the new ones with the kind of 2 levels on one level on the other.
Yeah.
And then ruin things. Everything that all I could do with the terrain I used at the event.
Yeah.
Like they're not all connected and stuff.
And I don't think it matters too much about exactness of terrain. Like if you don't have buildings, you could use hills.
Yeah.
Just the tallest one becomes the center point for B, and you'd have to, you get creative. But yeah, so you have one sniper in the highest point on their like main stronghold, then any combination of MPOs with a combined wound stat of 90. So that's where your cap comes in, and I guess you get as close to 90 as you can. If you get an 88, it's just like having, 995 points for a 1,000-point game. It's just how it works. They are set up with a conceal order wholly within Stronghold B. So they're all basically in the Stronghold, in the base, and they are either not visible from the player drop zone or in cover, depending on obviously the terrain you've got at hand. One of the other mission rules is rescue. So friendly operatives can perform a pick-up marker action on the objective marker, which is placed in the center of the board. Or just off center, I should say. Slightly in the enemy zone. They give you a really good key as well at the end point of the pack, where the map it shows you this is the deployment zone, this is the enemy zone. So when it refers to things like that in the mission, it's very easy to see what they're talking about, which is worth highlighting. And when a friendly operative is carrying the objective marker, they worsen the hit stat of its weapons by 1. I'm guessing it just can't aim very well. And it cannot be removed and set up again, e.g. it cannot fly. Okay. Which is probably like the Vespids and things like that. And jump pack dudes like the Aquilons. Are they Aquilons? Is that what they called them? Yeah. So yeah, you're just slower because you're picking up the objective and running. I'm assuming the objective, they obviously, for ease reasons, don't describe what it is, but the rule is called rescue. So I'm assuming you're rescuing an injured guy who's been wounded by the sniper.
Yeah.
That's how it is in my head. So if you've got a downed Marine or...
There you go. An assault upon an enemy stronghold has faltered, and one of your senior officers has been wounded and pinned down by the sniper fire. You have been chosen to lead an extraction mission, brave the sharpshooter's fire, repel the enemy, and ensure the injured officer is returned to safety.
Yes.
There we go then.
Nice. And the next mission rule is escape. Player operatives can move wholly over their kill zone edge, and any that do so have escaped. Remove them from the kill zone. So I'm assuming you try and escape with the objective, which is you getting the officer off the board.
Yeah.
Reinforcements in each strategy phase. In each strategy phase. There we go. Words. If half the MPOs are incapacitated, and you ignore the sniper when determining this, they call in reinforcements as a strategic gambit. Randomly select 2 incapacitated MPOs, excluding heavies, or 1 incapacitated heavy MPO, and set them up with a conceal order on the kill zone floor with Stronghold B, and wholly within 6 of their edge. Their kill zone edge, which is like deployment edge, I guess. Owning player's edge in 40k language. And I guess they represent a new person coming in, so that incapacitated guy has just died. Yeah. But here's another dude who's run onto the board. or the sector.
That's cool because basically it's not just kill everything and don't worry about getting
Yeah.
off. Like they're still going to come back.
Yeah, they're going to keep coming at you. So it is get off,
Mm-hmm.
So the victory condition in the ready step of each strategy phase, if any MPOs are within 2 inches of the objective marker, the battle might end. At the end of that turning point, if any MPOs are within 2 inches
Sorry, hang on 2 seconds. Where are you reading that from? Because that's
victory.
not what I have. Oh, I'm on I'm on mission 2. That's why. Carry on.
So in the ready step of each strategy phase, if any MPOs are within 2 inches of the objective marker, the battle might end. At the end of that turning point, if any MPOs are within 2 inches of the objective and no friendly operatives are within 6 of it, the battle ends and the players lose. As in they're going to capture him or kill him, the officer that you're trying to rescue. The battle also ends if the player have no operatives left in the kill zone. In this instance, if a player operative carrying the objective marker has escaped, the players win. Otherwise, the players lose because all you guys have died. Or run off the board. And that's mission 1. Pretty nice and simple.
Cool.
Good little intro one.
So we're going to aim to play this in the next month.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool to give it a go. Like you say, it would be a good way of learning the rules and just kind of seeing how Joint Ops plays. It's really interesting. Like, part of me thinks, we'll just get 2 people together and just play Kill Team. But I kind of like that you will get... This is a great way of learning your Kill Team.
Yep.
Because you are playing with a full Kill Team. There's no different data cards. It's all the standard rules.
Yeah.
But you're just playing standard data cards against,
It also means, like, there's plenty of evenings where I could play, but I'm not able to get out or we put Ray to bed or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I could play this on my own while Kelly's watching some trash TV.
Yeah.
And play this on the dining room table for an hour just to learn the rules and kind of sharpen up those rules.
Yeah.
Like, I like it. I like that they built this mechanism in. It seems like it makes sense to me.
Yeah. I actually kind of like it more as a solo.
Yeah.
Than a joint ops. Because I think part of me goes, if 2 people can get together and it's not hey, I'm going to intro you to Kill Team.
The
just
only
play
I would
a
say,
Kill Team game.
The only thing I would say, this is a great way to play. Hang on, let's phrase that better. This is a great way for you to introduce Kill Team to a child.
Yeah.
Like, where you don't have to pull punches and help them.
Yeah.
Like, because the computer is doing it for you.
Yeah.
Like, all you have to do is basically help them play and focus just on that. You don't have to think about, actually, I'm
and
going to pull
focus
this punch.
on 5 models because the other 5 you're controlling.
Yeah.
So you're just going to do your movements and then be like, what do you want to do with your guys?
Yeah. So I can imagine actually teaching someone to play. This is a great way of doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the only way I would do it. Like, if me and you were like, we've got time, let's play Kill Team.
We'll play Kill Team.
We'd play Kill Team and not play Joint Ops.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of where we're at currently with being new to the game and all of its rules, new to our Kill Teams, so we don't really know their abilities, how good they are or how squishy they may be.
Yep.
And you're not trying to counteract a player who could do something unexpected.
Yep.
And who also has a more complicated Kill Team that you might have to kind of roughly know what their team does. This is like the dude's either going to charge me if he can or hide.
Yeah.
Like, it's quite, you know what I mean? It's much more simple to play against. So I think in our current state, it's an amazing solo way of learning.
Mm.
And then, I think as a joint, I would rather play like with Caleb or with someone like, I don't know, Ben is a perfect example. I just played him at 40k. If he's like, I want to try what's Kill Team about. You know, I don't want to dive in and buy a Kill Team box and buy the rule book or whatever. Do you have 2 Kill Teams? Well, rather than going, I've got 2, I only need 1 and some models, and we can do this joint ops.
Yeah.
I think that's really great for that. But yeah, it's a really cool addition. It's something that I hadn't really considered before.
Yeah.
So really, really interesting. So yeah, we're going to go away. Hopefully, we can all give this a go, whether that's solo or joining up. And then we'll come back and kind of give you our findings. Talk about our experience of just playing the rules.
Yep.
And and see where we go from there. Cool. Cool. That was a good little segment.
Yeah.
We'll have a little break and then come back with our spotlight finally.
I've got a brand new combine harvester, and I'll give you the key. Alright there, my lover. Sometimes farming is hard work, and I need a midweek break. So we started Mike's Midweek Hangouts as a midweek haven from the hustle, bustle, and loud noises of the farm. These gatherings are held in Facebook rooms. You can join from the link found either in the Adeptus Terra podcast safe room or found in the Hobby Hangout channel on the Discord. If you want to get some midweek hobby progress in, why not grab your scrumpy and join Mike on a Wednesday from 8:30. See you there, my lover. Come on now, let's get together.
Welcome back. This is the Spotlight. For this episode, we have a lore segment. So if you remember, and it would be a good spot to kind of remind everyone, in this season, our Spotlight is focusing on a subject, not necessarily a lore segment, always. Now Sam's excitedly got his, I need to say Marine Codex, his Astra Militarum Codex. You can expect probably a faction focus on that coming in the near-ish future. But this episode, we're again looking at a lore segment, like last episode, and we are covering the Aldari Corsairs, or Eldar Corsairs, if you find Aldari an abomination after saying Astra Militarum, the Guard.
Astra Miller Watson.
Astra Miller, what now? So, as usual, we're going to go through some history, some basic kind of knowledge and lore that we found on the Corsairs, the Eldar Corsairs, on specific units that they will face that are unique to them. Just some really good bit of info about where they come from, how they fight, why they fight, etc.
Cool.
So, Eldar Corsairs, or the Anrath, are bands of piratial, basically bands of pirates that are Eldar outcasts. They are a constant threat to merchant shipping and raid where they choose. However, they are much smaller than their Craftwell brothers and sisters of the Eldar, and so go unnoticed unless they choose to bolster a cause or reveal themselves fully to the galaxy for reasons only known to the prince that rules the Corsairs fleet. Where we're going to take a quick look at the Eldar Corsairs, the way they fight, focusing on well-known fleets and characters as well that will pop up in conversation, I'm sure. Oh, sorry, I thought you waved at me.
No.
You must have been scrolling on your screen. It looked like, in the corner of my eye, it looked like you were like, I'm just going to stop you quickly. So before we get into the kind of nitty-gritty details, Sam's going to take us through a kind of overall structure of how the Corsairs work.
So, let's talk about Eldar. Probably, for me, one of the most fascinating races in the galaxy. I love the
Your
Eldar.
first love.
They're my first army, so I think they're great. So the rigid structure of the Eldar path, a set of discipline that govern the lives, can be suffocating. For some Eldar, these constraints become unbearable, leaving them to leave the craft worlds and embrace a life on the fringes. These individuals are known as outcasts.
So the teenagers of the Eldar race.
Just like, imagine long
not
flippy
fair.
hair, not fair. So outcasts live without safety nets of the Eldar path, carrying the weight of their advanced Eldar consciousness while being exposed to the dangers of the galaxy. In this freedom, they are incredibly vulnerable, and only the strongest Eldar can endure this life for long. Many of these outcasts wander the galaxy as adventurers or rangers, or even join pirate fleets, exploring the stars and pushing their limits. But eventually, most will return to the safety of the Eldar path, using their newfound experiences to grow wiser and more grounded. Kind of think of it like Rumspringer.
Rumspringer?
Rumspringer. It's the Amish.
It's not,
Rumspringer.
Oh, okay. It's not triggering in my brain.
No, so the Amish in the Amish culture, and I know very little about this, so I can't really speak on any authority whatsoever. But my understanding is in Amish culture they have Rumspringer, where you basically become an adult, you go off out.
Oh
into the
yeah,
world.
yeah. It's like a year, isn't it?
Yeah,
Or something.
and then you either come back or you don't.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. It's my understanding. Please don't kill me. I mean, to be honest, if you're Amish, you're probably not listening to this anyway.
Yeah,
so.
that's true. You don't have a podcast listening tool, I would assume.
Well, that's also a misconception. Some Amish do actually have technology.
Oh.
But anyway, there was a really good YouTube series on it that a guy did. I'll link it here. It's good. Where did I get to?
However.
Long. Many of these outcasts wander the galaxy as adventurers or rangers, or even join pirate fleets, exploring the stars and pushing the limits. But eventually, most return to the safety of the Eldar path, using the newfound experiences to grow wiser and more grounded. However, not all return. Some are drawn deeper into the galaxy's chaotic corners and join the ranks of the Corsairs. These groups are scattered throughout the stars. They're infamous for being ruthless raiders. Corsairs live in voluntary exile, embracing the freedom to explore the galaxy and experience the full range of emotions and sensations that heighten their elder minds, or that their heightened elder minds can handle. But the path of the Corsair can be a dark one. The worst of them descend into bloodlust, indulging in their darkest urges and growing more unstable. Many of these Eldar are then drawn to the notorious Dark City, where the line between madness and violence becomes even blurrier. Some Corsairs, driven by profit, will even offer their services to the highest bidders, usually wealthy and foolish humans who are willing to pay extortionate prices for their deadly help. These mercenaries are known for their deadly prowess in battle, but beware, tales often speak of their treacherous loyalty and the chilling joy they take in slaughter. They've been known to turn on their own allies, leaving their armour stained with blood of former comrades. On the battlefield, Corsairs rely on speed, surprise, rather than sheer firepower or heavy armour.
That's kind of very similar to regular Eldar, isn't it, really? Like this hit-and-run, agile, alien race.
100%. Their spacecraft, so their spacecraft are quick and agile, and their ground operations, they deploy a variety of fast vehicles like jetbikes, Vipers, Venoms, along with larger tanks like Falcons and the Hornet. When these things get really tough, they call in heavy support from the Warp Hunters and the Night Spinners. Unlike their darker counterparts, the Corsairs don't hide their psychic abilities, they embrace them fully, unleashing devastating powers in the heat of battle. So while the life of a Corsair may seem thrilling, it is a dangerous path, one where only the strongest Eldar will survive, let alone thrive.
Cool. So, Elder Corsairs tend to be more active than their Craftworld cousins, who would primarily focus on their own defence, whereas Corsairs will aggressively seek opportunities to carry out raids. There are certain Corsair fleets that are closely allied with Craftworlds, such as the Eldritch Raiders, who are allied with Eandon, or Xian's Black Raiders, who are allied with Uthway. But others will act completely independently. Corsairs also may form alliances with the Exodite Worlds in exchange for a safe haven and military aid. Occasionally, Azurian craft worlds and Corsair bands have gone to war against each other, and it is speculated that these outbreaks of war are attempts to prevent the Corsair fleets from fully falling to the influence of Drukhari Archons.
Yes, there's a real mix in the Corsairs of Dark Elder, Craft World, Crone World. It's a whole smorgasbord
Indeed.
of pointy-eared aliens.
Yes. It is true, many Elder Corsairs are known to frequent Comora, and a large number of Corsairs are of Drukhari blood themselves. Corsair ideals and motives differ wildly, and their presence may be for pleasure or sport, while others may be indifferent to the suffering of the Dark City and seek only profit. Some may even join Dark Elder for their real space raids.
Yeah, there seems to be this really big spectrum of Corsair kind of leniency and where they go. The way it talks about Comora in this makes me think of what's the place in Pirates of the Caribbean that they always go to, with where all the prostitutes are, and there's like a lawless land. Tortuga, yeah.
Tortuga
It's
Bay.
like, let's go to Tortuga, and they're all like, yeah,
Go to Tortoise Bay.
yeah.
Daughters, yes, very.
Um,
Ride tortoises.
But yeah, it just makes me think of that. All these pirates cheering every time they come towards Comorar, like, yeah, we're in for a good time. There's no laws here. Oh. So, Corsair fleets often menace sectors for a short time, preferring to remain elusive and avoid drawn-out battles and siege warfare. These fleets will often hide deep within a nebula or asteroid field, at forgotten Eldar stations or leftover bases before the fall. A standard Corsair raid begins with a rapid deployment from vampire raiders before quickly striking and withdrawing. Vampire raiders are like their ships. They're like like attack craft rather than like transports. Because you get the raider in Dark Eldar, but that's a transport vehicle. Boarding actions against undefended or poorly defended freighters or transports are also common. Quick, grab and run with a bunch of supplies. Corsair Princes will often be supported by heavier units such as Night Wings or Phoenix Bombers when in need. However, Corsair Princes are willing to sell out their fleet as mercenaries during lean times. I guess you've got to fend for yourself, so times are tough. You become a little bit looser with your allegiances. Employment as mercenaries could be done at the behest of a rebellious planetary governor, Imperial Guard commander, or any other renegade willing to ally with the Xenos race. Probably no Space Marines.
No.
But yeah, I think Sam's going to run through a bit of a more organisation, if you can call it that, for these piratial fleets.
So, at the heart of every Corsair fleet stands a Corsair Prince, the undisputed leader of the raiders. The Prince commands absolute authority, but they are never alone in their rule. Supported by a council of Corsair barons, advisors and captains, the leadership of the Corsair fleet is a complex web of power and strategy. Sometimes, the fleet direction is influenced by renegade Eldari psychers, known as Void Dreamers. These powerful seers have mysterious roles, guiding the fleets through the unknown reaches of space, their strange vision of shaping the fate of the Corsairs. The leadership of the Corsair fleet is split into smaller factions called coteries. These coteries are made up of warbands, and each warband is made of its own distinct identity, whether it's the Savage Corsair Reavers, the Aerial Sky Reavers, the Stealthy Ghost Walkers, or the Graceful Cloud Dancers. Within each warband, experienced veterans called Fellararchs rise to lead, bringing their wealth of battle knowledge to bear on every raid. Corsair fleets themselves can vary greatly in size and makeup. Some will be smaller, relying on their unique Corsair units to wreak havoc, whilst others bolster their ranks with warriors from across the Eldar race, sometimes drawing in vicious Caliber-like warriors from Comorar or bloodthirsty Harlequins, adding a whole new layer of danger and unpredictability.
Yeah. It's basically rule with an iron fist.
Yeah.
And there's some other special guys that kind of advise the greedy man at the top, and and then everyone else is just some form of murder expert,
henchman.
Like, yeah, it's like we kind of have an organization, but not really. And some of them are obviously massive, and some of the fleets are like one or two ships. Yeah. It really does depend. It's like one of the biggest and most famous ones was the Eldritch Raiders, who is Prince Uriel.
Yeah.
Who comes to the aid of End.End against the Tyranids. That's like a very well-known bit of fluff. And they're one of the biggest and actually most organised of the Corsair fleets. But then the other end of the spectrum, you've got these one or two ships that basically live at Comorar and are basically run by a prince who's an Archon who's fled Comorar because he was going to get killed and just taken his retinue with him and gone, we're now a fleet.
Yes. And
let's capture what we can and grow over time.
Surprise.
Yeah,
indeed.
It's really interesting.
Cool. So we're going to take a look through sort of the individual makeup and individual people, starting with the Corsair Prince. So coming from noble heritage, the prince and potential princesses represent the remnants of the old Eldar aristocracy. While they may come across as being arrogant, they are also brilliant tacticians and bold warriors. Hence the Archons potentially. Many princes have walked the stars for millennia, and they are masters of both the skills of sudden violence and of their own iron will. Corsair princes are paragons of cruel self-interest whose single-minded obsessions serve as a stabilising influence for those Eldar who choose to join them. A Corsair Prince may be driven by a variety of obsessions to escape the dread that eats away at the psyche of all Eldari. Some may follow the path that led to the fall to indulge in forbidden pleasures. They may also be seeking forbidden or lost realms, ancient treasures, great and profane powers, the need to hunt and kill, or a quest for immortality.
Yeah, I suppose their motives depend on what's happened to them, how they ended up as a prince, and what they now want to achieve, I guess.
Yes.
Again, I think if I did Corsairs, my prince would have to be, I'd have to call him Barbossa. Just after the Pirates of the Caribbean film.
Fair enough.
The hunt for being able to taste that apple.
Yes. So, each Corsair band is a fractious association, and they are as prone to warring upon itself as it is raiding the fleets of other races. For in the heart of each Corsair holds the desire to take the mantle of the Corsair Prince. So, obviously, very driven by a need for I want to be ruling now.
Mutiny.
So, you've got these members that are the Corsair Barons, and some of them rise above by force of arms or dark cunning, claiming positions of power as ship captains, boarding crew chiefs, or advisors to their fickle prince. The individual captains or other leaders amongst a given Corsair fleet are known as these barons.
Yeah, I think there's a few times where looking at a lot of the Corsair fluff was like, these are names the Imperium have given them.
Mm-hmm.
They all have their own individual titles that are so unique to themselves because that's how the Eldar function.
Yes.
That, almost a bit like the Custodes, who have their own specific name and they add to it over the years. Corsairs they're very, like fickle and arrogant and egotistical. So they'll give themselves, I am Bob the Great, or whatever, or the scourge of the foreign nebula or whatever. They will come up with these fancy titles, and the Imperium have just gone, all these guys, they're the barons.
They're the barons.
Because they're not quite as important as the princes, but they are in charge still.
Yeah. And then we've got the Felarchs. They're basically veteran experienced warriors within a Corsair warband. And they'll often be squad leaders for the less experienced members of that Corsair band. And as such, they have access to the more advanced weapons that you'll potentially see, such as fusion pistols, neurodisruptors, and the power weapons.
Yeah, a lot of modelling opportunities.
Indeed.
Going further than some of the characters that lead the Corsair fleets, we have some of the specialist units and further kind of aid to the prince. First one being the Void Dreamers. Now, away from the protective structures of the craft worlds, many Eldar develop wild and unpredictable psychic abilities. These creatures are both a bane and a boon for the Corsair fleets. As for each psyker who learns to control and focus their talent, there are many more who cannot. Few amongst those so gifted can achieve the clarity of mind and purpose needed to guide the Corsair fleets through the endless wastes of the warp. Or the twisted pathways of the webway. Such prodigies are highly valued by the Corsair princes. Void Dreamers are members of an Eldar Corsairs band who typically serve as a helmsman or, in Imperial terms, a navigator of the Corsair ships. They particularly focus the arts of divination and prophecy, though they do not use it to discern the distant far future like regular Eldar Farseers, but rather events that would affect them in the near future. This enables them to navigate the demon seas of the warp while shielding themselves from a myriad of its dangers. So kind of self-serving, in 10 minutes this is going to be there, so we're going to steer away from it. rather than focusing on, in 10,000 years, this massive event will happen and change the course of the universe. They're like, I don't care about that.
Let's the here and now.
I just want to keep myself alive.
Let's focus on the here and now.
Yeah. So that's the Void Dreamers. Next, you have the Corsair
Malevolence.
Thank you. These are members of the Corsair band that have succumbed to the fear of the gaze of she who thirsts, Slanesh. The raucous and violent abandon of these Corsairs is a fragile cover for the fear that eats away at them. And when this fails, they are gripped by a dark and terrible uneasiness. Despised by their fellows, these unfortunates are sealed away until battle looms, where their suicidal fury is unleashed upon the foe. They're like the Corsairs' death company. Is how I kind of they're just locked in a box, and it's like, go, kill a bunch of stuff.
Good analogy.
And if you die, that's just better for us. So yeah, that's how I kind of picture them. Just opening this box and this Eldar spinning out with like 6 different knives and just like stabby. It's kind of how I see this.
Stabby.
Yeah. That's a bit more Eldar-like, yeah.
Makes sense.
And last, we have the Ghost Walkers. So the Ghost Walkers operate in shadow and darkness, trusting in stealth over bravado. These warriors often carry a long rifle into battle, jumping and diving from perch to perch. These elusive warriors hamper the advance of the cumbersome formations of the fleet's opposition. These are kind of very similar to the standard Eldar Rangers. Kind of, they've honed their skills. They, using long sniper rifles, cloaks for concealment, rather than the garish bravado of hanging out of a transport with a swinging a whip.
Yes,
like a bit more Dark Elder style. Like they're that's what makes them so different.
I now need to want to have a look at the box for them and the
on it.
Team.
The kill team box. We will get there because at the bottom we're going to talk about Corsairs in general. It's a problem.
Is it? They've got models for them?
Yes, Corsair Void Scarred. It's one of the units that you're about to cover.
God. Right. Anyway, back to me. So I'm going to be covering the Void Reavers, the Void Storm Squad, and the Void Scarred. So let's dive into the heart of the Corsair fleet, the troops that make it all possible. The Void Reavers are the backbone of the Corsair forces. They are a wild bunch. These warriors don't march in neat lines. They fight in loose, chaotic groupings, bound together by fleeting alliances or a sense of kinship. When these bands take to the battlefield, they are the ones leading the charge, harrying their enemies with fast hit-and-run assaults. The Void Reavers are far from disciplined, but that's what makes them so unpredictable. They're armed with electric mix of weapons and gear, each band having its own unique style. This lack of uniformity is what makes them especially hard for the Imperium to classify, and even harder to plan for. They are a nightmare for anyone trying to anticipate or counter their moves. But not all Corsairs are so wild. Among the most elite of the Corsairs are the Void Storm squads. These squads are made up of the most experienced and battle-hardened warriors, veterans who've proven themselves time and time again. Known individually as Feliarchs, these are the Corsairs handpicked by the Prince to undertake the most dangerous and important missions. Void Storm squads focus on close quarter combat, making them deadly in tight situations. Equipped with a range of devastating weapons like flamers, fusion guns, power weapons, haywire grenades, melter bombs, these troops excel in tearing through enemy lines with overwhelming force. The Feliarchs that lead the squads are not only skilled in battle, but they also survived the cutthroat politics of the Corsair fleet, earning both glory and recognition for their bravery.
Yeah, and they're split up sometimes to lead the... Was it Void Reavers? The general squads?
Yeah.
So they're like Feltarch is like their individual title.
Right.
But when they chuck them all together, they become the Void Storm.
Then we have the Void Guard. Some of these most hardened Corsairs to ever roam the stars. These individuals have spent centuries traveling across the galaxy, gathering experiences that few others can even begin to comprehend. Their bonds are strong. They often find one another because only those that have been through the same brutal trials can understand what they've endured. Void Guard Corsairs are known for their exceptional combat skills and unique fighting styles. Some are deadly snipers, others are masters of heavy weapons, blades, or even potent psychers. They've tested their mettle against all kinds of foes, from orcs to humans, to chaos forces to Tyranids, and even other Eldar. Many Void Guard have earned the infamy among their own kind, either for their ruthless tactics or how deeply their souls have been hardened over lifetimes of space travel.
Yes. Yes, and the Void Guard is what the box for the kill team is.
Yes.
And they look flipping phenomenal. They're so cool.
I'm going there now.
They do look rather awesome.
Like, honestly.
Although I'm not overly keen on the way they painted them.
Yeah, but I mean
personally,
that's easily fixed.
But
Yeah, they look like a mix of Dark Eldar, and then almost something slightly unique as well to them. They look really, really cool.
I like that one.
What one?
The one with the cloaks and the knives.
Yes, yeah. They are very, very cool. I mean, a lot of this background, this lore, comes from an Imperial Armor book. Remember Forge World used to do the Imperial Armor books?
Oh, yes.
And so you used to be able to field full armies of Corsairs.
Right.
And you would steal from the Eldar Codex and the Dark Eldar Codex at the time.
Yeah.
And that's how you built a Corsair list.
Back when GW were actually kind of cool on narrative.
Well, a lot of their Forge World units that are now no longer available were Corsair units.
Yeah.
So we mentioned, I think we talked about the Hornet,
Yeah.
which was one of their tanks. That was
Yeah.
a Corsair tank. They had a different Walker. So, like the Eldar Walkers.
Yes.
They had like a jump version, the Corsairs. And they had a bunch of like little wings that you could buy for the Guardians to give them little little wings.
Yeah.
They were just like 2 little bits of resin.
Yeah.
It was a really weird upgrade sprue
Yeah.
kind of thing. See, Corsairs were very supported, and that's kind of gone away, particularly as an army. Nowadays, I guess you could ally in Dark Eldar and Eldar and kind of just model how you want and use those units to create a Corsair fleet. But obviously now they're playable in Kill Team with that Void Guard squad. And in my opinion, they are so cool that I am tempted to buy it and kind of go that route. But that's only because the Catachans have sat in a box and not really been looked at for the last couple of months. I'm sure when I start getting them out and I look at the Marbo model that I'm using as my leader, and I'll go, actually, I do still really want to do this.
The thing is, though, right? Do both.
Yeah, 100%. It's one box.
This is the beauty of Kill Team, and I think why we've talked about doing it is because you could do that little weird itch of Kroot.
Yeah.
You could do that little weird itch of Tau.
Yeah.
Like Dark Eldar, whatever you want to do. You could do that little strange itch and not have to get cream for it.
Yeah. So I did download the Void Guard rules in the app. I haven't really looked at them yet, but that box, it does look sexy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think for me, I think the Corsairs are the most interesting part of the Eldar.
Right.
The kind of stuffy, all the different aspects of the Eldar, like high and mighty, we're the ancient race. Yeah. I don't like that. And the Dark Eldar go too far off the other end of the spectrum.
Right. Yeah.
Into just evil, torture, murder monsters. And the Corsairs kind of have a bit of both, and I kind of like that. You've got some arrogance, there's ego, but there's also, they're very experienced and hardened due to the life they've chosen, which really fits that piratial feel. And I love the look of like the Dark Eldar vehicles. So using like that would be really cool. Like I could easily be tempted into doing a Corsairs themed army. How I'd do that in the rules, I don't know. I don't know enough about 10th, to be honest, to know how to do that.
Yeah.
But
you don't know about 10th yet.
Yeah. So yeah, like
by the time we get to know it, though, 11th will come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite.
I wonder if they even call it 11th.
Call it X.
I don't know, what's your feelings of the Corsairs? Cool, just another little wing of the Eldar that's like, well, whatever.
I think, controversially, that they are awesome to read about in books, but I don't really feel like beyond a Kill Team that
I'd want
to do an army of them. Like, play Eldar, play Dark Eldar. You're never going to get the support. I definitely think I've moved more towards supported armies.
Yes.
Like, painting Cadians rather than some random ass colour scheme. I just want to go the nice path of least resistance kind of support area.
They've worn you down over the years.
Where you can get
you
can get books about your army, where you can get like actual stuff for your army.
And you might actually see a new character or two.
Yeah,
like Ursula Creed and
exactly.
And what's Minska Leska,
which I have just bought. It's just. I'm there for that, right? And Corsairs, there's the path of the Outcast, I think.
Yeah.
There is
That
some books
follows
about
a
'em.
ranger.
Oh, does it? Okay. So there are like awesome to read about in books and really kind of high fantasy kind of really cool books, I can imagine. But ultimately, as an army, it wouldn't ticket it for me because I'm in for support. I'm in for like a well trodden path.
It's things like I always like the idea of doing the Elysian drop troops.
Yeah.
With the
A nun.
crazy
Yeah. Cool.
Tauros vehicle,
I was
Or-
full ready to go into that, and then they cancelled them.
They just disappeared, didn't they? And they brought the vehicles back in Necromunda, isn't it? In Ashways.
Yeah.
It's
looks
called
very-
something
it looks
else
the
and
same,
stuff,
but
yeah.
yeah.
But they've used that and just done a new version of it, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really a shame.
It's for it's for the
Games Workshop
police.
can only support so much,
and
so
actually,
I get it.
Actually, if they don't go and support Corsairs, then and they're putting more time into Eldar and Dark Eldar, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
exactly.
win
Or
at that
Eldari and Dark
Yeah.
Eldari, is that what it is? Eldari and
No, I don't know
Yunari?
what they're called.
no, Yunari's the one in
Yunari.
between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dark Eldar is Yvain? No.
No, Yvrain is the character from the
Hey, but I remembered something.
Azure Army.
Dark Eldar are
Hang
the
on.
Drakari.
Drukari, yeah.
Because that makes sense.
Yeah, well, we need a name that we can...
Aldari, Drukari, Jeezy Cults, League of Votan, Necrons, Orc, Ta'o, and Empire, and Tyranids.
But yeah, anyway, so that's our coverage of Eldar Corsairs. Hope you found that interesting and fun. We'll take our last advert break and come back to round out the episode. Do you want to paint some models? Come on, let's go and paint. They're always sitting on the shelf. They won't paint themselves. Do you want them to stay all grey? Hi, I'm Matt, and you may remember me from such things as pessimist or realist, you decide. Laziness, the hobby killer, and the burning of Hivani Prime. I'm here to tell you about the monthly hobby hangouts that we host online. These run usually the last Sunday of every month from 8 PM UK time, where you will be greeted by one of the podcast hosts. Every month is a blast with lots of chatter around the hobby as well as wider life in a friendly atmosphere. Some of us get a decent amount of hobby done, but by no means is that the must for these hangouts. We post updates and links to these events through our Facebook safe room and Discord channel, so jump on those to join in with other members of the Adeptus Terra community. We hope to see you there. Well, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that advert, whatever was there. Thank you for listening to this episode. It's been good to get another one under the belt of Season 3. Lots to kind of look forward to. Chatting about Guard in between recording, and that faction focus will be a really cool thing to do on this season. And just kill team as well, and trying joint ops is really cool, and see where we progress hobby wise as well. Lots of conversation. It's been nice for all three of us have kind of been catching up on and off recording, and it's been a fun time. So hopefully you've had a good time listening to this episode. A quick reminder, the next hobby hangout date is the 30th of March from 8 PM. Look out for an event that may or may not appear. We should get better at doing that.
Hey, I'm fine.
Yeah. It's still normally like the week before it happens.
But it's still. But
We
you
should
know what
probably-
though? Engagement is way higher in the shorter notice than when we. Like I did
Yeah.
like a month before.
You are true, yeah.
And then people were like, "Oh, is there a hangout?" I'm like, "Yeah, there was an event created."
Yeah.
Like, so I think doing it on the week before, or even on the day, sometimes feels like you get more people there.
Yeah. But yeah, do come and join us. They're a great time online if you can make it, whether you're hobby or not. They're just really positive and encouraging times to hang out with people that you don't get to see normally. And I just want to highly recommend it. Social media, you can follow us on Instagram, which is simply the Adeptus Terra podcast, isn't it? You can join our Facebook group, the Adeptus Terra podcast community safe room. That's a really good group to get connected into, as well as where we're most active nowadays is our Discord server, where we have a bunch of channels about different subjects, hobby progress, asking advice, rules questions, 40k, 30k, general chat, off-topic stuff. It's a really great place to be. We'd really like to grow our Discord. So do check that out. I believe when the episode goes out, there is a refreshed link nowadays to the Discord server.
Yeah.
So you can just follow that link, and that will take you to our Discord server as an invite, and you can join. If you're having any issues, message us on Facebook, send us an email, the Adeptus Terra podcast @gmail.com, and we can get a link to you personally to get you involved in our Discord as well. Cool. That's episode 2, all wrapped up. Next month, episode 3. Some actual games played from you with the new codex. That's quite exciting. And a bit of joint ops kill team to chat about. And we'll have to see for the spotlight. Not sure yet.
We'll see. It'll be fun.
But until all of that, hope you've enjoyed the episode. Thank you very much for listening. I've been Matt.
I've been Sam.
And I've been Neil.
And this has been the Adeptus Terra podcast. Until next time, guys. See you later.
Peace.